Chapter 1465. Dad, go ahead. Huamin wiped away his tears. I saw the news today. I only found out about the company's problems. Su Changji has been with me for many years. He's one of the founding members of the company. We're good friends, so it's normal for him to embezzle some of the company's assets. I also know that he bought a house in the States, but I didn't expect him to testify against Chu and frame him. I'm very disappointed, but I know Su Changji well. He's not so despicable as to push all the blame onto Chu to protect himself. So, I suspect that he was threatened by someone. Mian, although you don't work at the company, you're very smart and have a high IQ. You have to investigate this thoroughly. You can't let Chu face the disaster of being imprisoned. Dad, don't worry about this. Qin Chu and I are already investigating. As far as I know, he was indeed threatened. Apparently, Su Changji's youngest daughter was kidnapped 3 days ago, but the Su family refused to call the police. This is enough to prove everything. I won't let anyone hurt Qin Chu. He's the most important person to me. I will protect him for the rest of my life. Thank you, Mian. Upon hearing Huamin's words, Qin Yuman was very happy. Dad, drink some water and rest. Huamin helped his father-in-law up to drink some water. Qin Chu leaned against the door of the adjacent room and didn't walk out. He didn't dare. He didn't want his father to see him cry. That would increase his father's psychological pressure. He just wanted to plan the surgery properly and do his best to make it as perfect as possible. The next morning, Lady Qin and the nanny came to take care of him, while Huamin and Qin Chu drove away. Huamin looked rather haggard, so Qin Chu drove her back to South Hill Manor. Honey, don't go to the company today, get some rest. I'm worried. It's okay, be a good girl. The wedding candies and chocolates we ordered arrived today. You can ask them to pack them up at home and give them to the guests as gifts. Honey, let's postpone the wedding. Is it because of Dad's illness? Qin Chu knew Huamin better. Huamin nodded with a heavy heart. No need. The wedding will be held as usual. I will personally operate on Dad after the wedding. If you do it yourself, what are the chances of success? Huamin asked worriedly. To be honest, there's no chance of winning. Qin Chu lowered his head. Huamin's heart sank again, but I don't have a choice now. I have to give it a try. Yes, I believe that Dad will be fine. Heaven helps the worthy. Good girl, rest well and conserve your energy. You are the most beautiful bride. Qin Chu kissed Huamin on the lips and then drove to the company. Unexpectedly, at the entrance of the company, she saw Song Yishe, whom she had not seen for a long time. Qin Chu, what do you want? Qin Chu's attitude was still cold. Song Yishe was wearing a wine-red cashmere coat and carrying a white Dior bag. She was dressed very coquettishly, but no matter how pretty she was, Qin Chu didn't even look at her. I have something important to tell you. I don't have anything to say to you, Qin Chu said as he walked in. Song Yishe caught up to him. Qin Chu, it's really important. It concerns the safety of your company. You know. Qin Chu coldly glanced at Song Yishe's face. Hua Xiqian did all of this. He's the one behind all of this. Do you know why? Song Yishe asked, word for word. Chapter 1466. Qin Chu didn't say anything, because that damn psycho likes Huamin. He likes him like crazy, did you know that? Song Yishe sounded as if she was announcing an important secret. Her voice was a little agitated. Qin Chu, on the other hand, remained calm. He had known for a long time that Hua Xiqian liked Huamin. Otherwise, he wouldn't have warned Huamian to ignore Hua Xiqian. Qin Chu never underestimated him. He always knew that Hua Xiqian was a dangerous person, so what? Qin Chu raised his eyebrows and asked coldly. He'll do anything to achieve his goal, did you know that? Hua Xiqian is a complete psychopath. He's crazy and has no bottom line. Normal people like us can't stand up to him because he's not even on the same level as us. Or to put it more bluntly, he's no longer human. Yes, Song Yisher had to tell Qin Chu how terrifying Hua Xiqian was. Everyone was fooled by his appearance and thought that he was the smiling and easygoing President Hua. But what if he wasn't? He wasn't President Hua at all. He was a bloodthirsty wolf with huge ambitions and desires. He would never give up until he achieved his goal. He didn't even care about human lives. You couldn't judge a person by right or wrong, because he would never think that he was wrong. So, Qin Chu continued to interrogate her coldly. He already knew everything that Song Yisher said, and in fact, he already knew. He didn't know why Song Yisher came to him with such great fanfare. Qin Chu was in a bad mood and didn't want to waste time with her. Just then, Song Yisher took a few steps closer and said in a low voice, Qin Chu, you have to kill him. Are you crazy? Qin Chu was truly shocked this time. He looked at Song Yisher in disbelief. She was a highly educated student. How could she have such crazy thoughts? How could she ask him to kill someone? Qin Chu thought that to deal with Hua Xiqian, he only needed to make him suffer a crushing defeat. Let's give them a taste of their own medicine and use a more sophisticated method to bankrupt the Hua Corporation. Why did he have to kill someone? This was something that touched a person's three views and the bottom line of right. He couldn't do it. Even if he wanted to, Hua Min wouldn't agree to it. Qin Chu, listen to me, if you don't do this, you won't be able to deal with him. He's really scary. I can guarantee that he has more tricks up his sleeve. Even if your company survives this crisis, he still has more tricks up his sleeve. Really, please believe me, I'm not trying to scare you, nor am I exaggerating. I know too well what kind of person Hua Xiqian is. After Song Yisher and Hua Xiqian got married, what she saw was basically intolerable. She only dared to come to Qin Chu because she made up her mind. If Hua Xiqian found out about this, he would probably teach her a lesson. Hua Xiqian was the kind of person who would seek revenge for the smallest grievance. If you did anything to him, he would immediately retaliate. Hua Xiqian couldn't compare to Qin Chu in this aspect. At least, he was different and wasn't magnanimous. However, in Hua Xiqian's world, he didn't care if people called him petty or calculative. He said that he didn't care about anything. He didn't care how people looked at him or how they scolded him. He only wanted Hua Min. This was his lifelong wish, but I can't kill him. I can just ruin his reputation. You can't be too ruthless. Qin Chu frowned slightly. He and Rick had already thought of a perfect plan. They would carry it out as soon as the wedding was over. When the time came, the Hua Corporation would collapse in the shortest time possible, and Hua Xiqian would have nothing left. This time, he wouldn't let him go. He realized that if he didn't defeat him and beat him up badly, he would never let go of Hua Min. It's useless, really, believe me, as long as he's alive, he'll become a tumor. You have to kill him. Song Yisher tried her best to persuade him. Chapter 1467. That's enough, stop talking. You can leave now. I have my own way of dealing with Hua Xiqian. Qin Chu didn't want to listen to another word, however, he didn't know that although Song Yisher's words were extreme, they were actually correct. To deal with Hua Xiqian, extreme methods were necessary. This was why Qin Chu hated himself for being too kind. Why didn't he kill Hua Xiqian? If he didn't, the tragedy of being separated from Hua Min wouldn't have happened. Qin Chu turned around and walked into the building. Song Yisher stood alone not too far behind him. She wanted to cry, but no tears came out. This time, she really didn't say anything to Chin Chu. It was wishful thinking. Although she really wanted Chin Chu and Hua Min to divorce. If that happened, she would still have a chance. However, compared to that, she wanted Chin Chu to kill Hua Xiqian, the psycho. She had a feeling that as long as Hua Xiqian was alive, she wouldn't have a good life. Moreover, she wasn't so simple that she would think that after Hua Xiqian divorced her, they would really go their separate ways. That was impossible because she already knew a lot about him. He had a lot of dirt on her, her father, and her uncle. If Hua Xiqian didn't die, he would use the power of the Song family to do a lot of bad things, right? Chin Chu, if you don't listen to me today, you will regret it. Song Yisher was so angry that she got into her white Audi Q5. Then, she hesitated for 3 seconds. She took out her phone and said coldly, "Do it. Remember to do it cleanly." "Yes, Miss Song. Don't worry, we were paid to do it." After hanging up the phone, Song Yisher suddenly felt a little guilty. This was her second plan. If Chin Chu didn't agree to kill Hua Xiqian, then she would do it herself. But would it succeed? If he succeeded, then everything would be fine. But if he failed and the matter was exposed, then, Song Yisher didn't even dare to think about what would happen to her. At 12:30 p.m. that day, Hua Xiqian drove the Rolls-Royce Phantom out of the Hua Corporation's underground parking lot. Every day at this time, he would go out for lunch on time. Hua Xiqian was very picky about what he ate. He would not eat in the office, nor would he order takeout. Because he didn't trust anyone at all. Therefore, she would buy her own groceries and go to the Hua family's private kitchen that she opened not far away. There was a worker he hired there. She was a mute woman in her 50s. No one knew where this person came from, but he had a very good relationship with Hua Xiqian. If she was not around, Hua Xiqian would cook for himself. Only when he was with Hua Min would he not have any doubts. This was because he knew that his Hua Mian was very kind and would not do something as low as poisoning someone. When Hua Xiqian drove a few meters out at noon, he saw a big truck rushing towards him. It looked like it wanted to kill him. He immediately turned the steering wheel to the right. At this time, a big truck was also coming from the right. It was a pincer attack. Fortunately, Hua Xiqian reacted quickly and immediately reversed the car. Luxury cars were indeed different. Their speed was also incomparable to normal cars. Hua Xiqian quickly reversed the car and wanted to go back to the garage. At this time, a black Land Rover came out of nowhere and crashed into Hua Xiqian's car. This was a 3-way pincer attack. He really wanted to put him to death. Chapter 1468. Just as the cars were about to crash, Hua Xiqian quickly opened the car door and got out of the car. Then, he personally watched as the 3 cars crashed into his Phantom, which was worth more than 30 million yuan. Boom! A deafening sound was heard. Then, the drivers of the 3 cars fled in different directions. Haha, this scene is well designed, but such a simple and violent design doesn't seem like something Chin Chu would do. Hua Xiqian leaned against the wall of the office building and took out his phone. Get me the CCTV from just now. Find the 3 cars within an hour, and then, interrogate them. I want to know who planned the serial car accident. After speaking, Hua Xiqian hung up the phone. It was indeed a close call, but it wasn't like he had nowhere to run. So, there really was someone who wanted to kill him so badly. Unfortunately, Hua Xiqian looked up at the bright sun in the sky and smiled. Unfortunately, you won't be able to kill me. Song Yisher waited for a long time, but she didn't receive any calls from those people. She didn't know what happened. Just then, she received a news alert on her phone. Breaking news, there was a 3-car pileup in front of the Hua Corporation. A Rolls-Royce fantasy was smashed beyond recognition. Apparently, it was the car of the president of the Huo Corporation. The employees of the Huo Corporation also confirmed that President Huo Xiqian was in the car when the accident happened. As for what happened to him, it's still unclear. The police have surrounded the scene and are investigating. 120 also arrived at the scene in time. We will continue to broadcast this report, so please stay tuned. When Song Yishe heard this, she was extremely excited. If the accident was so serious, then Huo Xiqian would be dead for sure. Song Yishe pretended to call Huo Xiqian. Sorry, the subscriber you have dialed is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later. Since the call couldn't go through, she was even more certain that something happened to Huo Xiqian. Song Yishe was so happy that she wanted to pop open a bottle of champagne to celebrate. She could do things that Qin Chu and Huo Min couldn't. If they didn't want to kill someone, she dared. Actually, Song Yishe and Huo Xiqian were the same. Sometimes, they wouldn't care about sacrificing anything in order to achieve their goals. In order to complete her act, Song Yishe even drove to the headquarters of the Huo Corporation. At that time, he was surrounded by the media as soon as he got out of the car. Mrs. Huo, how are you feeling right now? I'm very sad. I only hope that my husband is safe. Otherwise, how can I live on? Song Yishe said as she wiped her tears with a tissue. Her acting was so real that everyone was touched by her performance. Mrs. Huo, don't be sad. We are sad. President Huo will be fine. I also hope that he will be fine. He will be fine. Song Yishe continued to act. Headquarters of Imperial Star Su Yu smiled when he saw the live broadcast. Xiao and President Su, tell all the employees to stay after work tonight. I've arranged a party for everyone. What day is it today? President Su. Xiaoan was also confused. It's a good day. Go. Su Yu smiled. Wasn't it good that someone like Huo Xiqian got into a car accident? Su Yu thought that this was fate. He deserved to end up like this. He didn't have to do it himself. That damn psycho, Huo Min slept at home. When she woke up, her phone exploded with all kinds of messages. She opened it and saw that most of them were related to Huo Xiqian. Mian, did you see the news? Is Huo Xiqian really dead? Everyone is saying that he's dead because they haven't found him yet. I wonder if his body was destroyed. What a tragedy. Zhu Lingling asked excitedly. Chapter 1469. I did, that's great, should we celebrate tonight? Zhu Lingling and the others hated Huo Xiqian to the core. They were overjoyed to hear the news. I don't think things are that simple. What do you mean? You don't believe me. It's not that I don't believe you, I just don't think something like this would happen to someone as cautious as him. Didn't you say that we don't even know if he's in the car? The media is exaggerating, it could be a smokescreen. Huo Min was relatively calm. She had a feeling that Huo Xiqian wouldn't die so easily. He was so good at scheming, how could he die so easily? It didn't make sense. If he could die from an accident like this, then wouldn't he have died thousands of times? He had too many enemies. You're right, but who cares? I'm happy to hear the news. Do you want to have dinner together? No, my father-in-law's condition hasn't been stable lately. Qin Chu and I are at the company during the day and the hospital at night. Damn it, wouldn't you be exhausted? Even if you were made of iron, you wouldn't be able to do it. It's okay, he's our family. It doesn't matter if we're tired or not. The most important thing is that he gets better. Last night, Qin Yuman's words made Huo Min, who had always been calm and collected, burst into tears. Although she kept reassuring herself that her father-in-law would be fine in her heart. But she knew that she was just lying to herself. How could a surgery that even Chin Chu wasn't sure about succeed? It would be very difficult, right? Even if it succeeded, would it? Who could guarantee that the cancer cells wouldn't spread? She took a deep breath. Huamin listlessly changed and went downstairs. Soon Wan hadn't come to the north in March yet, and the cold wind was still blowing. Huamian put on a black cotton-padded jacket and drove straight to the company. GK headquarters. Chin Chu assigned a lot of work to do in the morning. Now that GK was back to normal, Huasiqian's tricks were no longer effective. Since this morning, more than a dozen real estate developers had already restored the original price amidst a wave of criticism. Because they couldn't afford it, if it weren't for the fact that Huasiqian had threatened them, they wouldn't have done something that would harm others without benefiting themselves. Seeing that they had all returned to their original prices, the market returned to normal, and GK also announced that they would return to their original prices. A real estate battle ended just like that. Chin Chu calculated that there were still a few more days before he could return the money to the Rick family. Fortunately, there was no danger this time. Tens of billions of yuan instantly shrank and bounced back in an instant. That excitement wasn't just about uncles and aunts. At noon, everyone was talking about Huasiqian's car accident. Yang couldn't help but gossip. "Boss, don't you think this is called retribution? Retribution sure comes fast. That bastard Huasiqian should be knocked to death." "Who said he's dead?" Chin Chu asked calmly. Didn't the media say?" "The media only reported on the car accident. They didn't say if he was in the car or if he was dead or seriously injured. So, let's not spread rumors." "You don't believe me?" "For someone like Huasiqian, I'll only believe that he's dead when I see his corpse." Yes, Chin Chu and Huamin both didn't believe that Huasiqian would die so easily. However, Chin Chu thought back to the car accident and realized that it was indeed set up. It couldn't have been so coincidental that 3 cars simultaneously attacked Huasiqian at the same time. In the morning, Song Yisher came to him and told him about her terrifying idea, and at noon, something happened. Was this really a coincidence, or did Song Yisher do something? Chin Chu kept thinking about these things. "Honey," Huamin pushed open the door and walked in with his bag. Chapter 1470. "Have you eaten yet?" "Honey." "No, let's go eat ramen, okay?" "Okay," Chin Chu nodded and said. Then, he drove Huamin to Oaxian's ramen. "Honey, do you believe that Huasiqian is dead?" "What about you?" Chin Chu took a bite of his ramen and asked. "I don't believe it. I think he might have set this up himself. Maybe he's up to no good again." "Yeah, I don't believe it either. A person like him wouldn't die from a car accident. But I have a feeling that Huasiqian might be plotting something else." Yes, Chin Chu wasn't a person who relied on his feelings. But lately, his heart had been beating really fast. He was even panicking. He felt like something bad was going to happen. In less than a week, he and Huamin's wedding would be held. He really hoped that everything would go smoothly. The media had been reporting on Huasiqian's incident. However, no one had seen Huasiqian in person. Even the hospital was surrounded by reporters. But there were no clues. It was as if he had disappeared from the face of the earth. That night, Song Yisher drove back to Huasiqian's private mansion. She wanted to take the last of her personal belongings with her. Then, she would find an opportunity to file for divorce. She had had enough of living in fear. When she arrived home, the entire mansion was pitch black, which meant that no one was home. Only she and Huasiqian had the keys. They didn't even hire a housekeeper. The two of them didn't even live here. It was just a formality when they got married. Just as she finished packing and was about to head downstairs from the second floor to the first floor, she suddenly stopped in her tracks, because she saw someone standing at the top of the stairs on the first floor. She wasn't that scared at first, but while she was in a daze, that person flicked the lighter in his hand, and the light instantly illuminated his face. Song Yisha was scared out of her wits. "Aw!" She screamed, turned around, and ran upstairs. Hua Xichen chased after her and grabbed Song Yisha's hair. He forcefully dragged her a few steps back. "Bitch, what are you afraid of? Did you think you saw a ghost? You! Why are you here?" Song Yisha's voice was filled with fear. "What? You think I'm dead?" No, but the media said that you died in a car accident." Song Yisha had lost the ability to think because everything had happened too suddenly. She really thought that Hua Xichen was dead, therefore, he did not have the sense of crisis like Qin Chu and Hua Min. "You wish for me to die? What a pity. I haven't lived long enough. How can I bear to die?" After that, Hua Xichen grabbed Song Yisha's hair and dragged her downstairs. Her entire body was covered in bruises. He did not go easy on her at all. He did not show her any mercy even though she begged. "Please, let go of me. It really hurts." When Hua Xichen reached downstairs, he grabbed both of her hands with one hand and pulled out his belt with the other. He tied her hands together. What are you doing?" "What am I doing? Don't you know? Do you think I don't know your little tricks?" Hua Xichen's voice was cold. "What tricks? I don't know what you're talking about." Song Yisha tried her best to cover it up. "Very well, you're playing dumb with me. Let me remind you, do you know why you haven't received any replies from those people?" Song Yisha widened her eyes and did not say anything. She only looked at Hua Xichen's beast-like eyes in fear. "Because they're dead. Do you want to see them? What do you want? I'm warning you, if you kill me, my dad won't let you go." Song Yisha knew that Hua Xichen already knew about her plan. Would he want to kill her? Chapter 1471. At this moment, she was really scared. She had never felt so close to death. She knew that Hua Xichen was capable of doing anything. Hua Xichen chuckled softly. His chuckle sent chills down her spine. "What are you laughing at?" "I'm laughing at you. You're so stupid. Do you think I'm trying to kill you? You're wrong, killing is illegal. Plus, it won't be fun if you're dead." Then, Hua Xichen took out the yellow tape that he always carried with him and wrapped it around Song Yisha's feet. He wrapped it around and around, leaving a gap in the middle. "Hua Xichen, you're a bastard, you're a psycho." "Go ahead, I like it. I'm a psycho anyway. Help, someone, help." Song Yisha screamed at the top of her lungs. "My dear Shusher, you seem to have forgotten that our house is soundproof. Even if you scream yourself hoarse, no one outside will be able to hear you." Song Yisha's heart sank when she heard what he said. Tears fell from her eyes. "Hua Xichen, I'm begging you, I won't do it again. Please let me go. If I let you go, who will let me go?" Hua Xichen said as he reached out and gently caressed Song Yisha's beautiful face. "You really want me to die, don't you?" Song Yisha cried and shook her head desperately. "Baby, you're lying again. I really don't like it when you're like this." Then, Hua Xichen took out a palm-sized wallpaper cutter from his tools. Song Yisha felt like all the blood in her body had frozen. "Hua Xichen, what are you doing?" "I'm going to scratch your face first." "How about that?" Hua Xichen waved the wallpaper cutter in front of her. Song Yisha was so scared that all the blood drained from her face. "Please don't. I know I'm wrong." Song Yisha was so scared that she couldn't stop crying. TSK. You really overestimate yourself. Do you think you're good looking? You seem to care a lot about your face. I feel disgusted when I see your face. I think Qin Chu is the same as me. Song Yisher could only cry and shake her head. Do you know why Chin Chu doesn't like you, why Siu doesn't like you, and why I don't like you? Song Yisher didn't respond. Wasichyan placed the paper knife against Song Yisher's face and slid it all the way down. Because you're cheap. Do you know why they all like Hwamin? Because she's not cheap. Song Yisher trembled as she replied. Ha, of course not. Chin Chu likes Hwamin because he's used to it. It's like he's used to something and can't bear to change it. Suyu likes Hwamin because he can't get her, so he wants her even more. I'm the only one who truly likes Hwamin. I like her no matter what she does, whether it's her smile, her anger, her rage, or even the way she sleeps. That's why they don't deserve her. In this world, I'm the only one who truly loves Hwamin. I don't ask for anything in return and I don't have any ulterior motives. Wasichyan, are you crazy? Chin Chu loves Hwamin so much, how can you say that he doesn't love her? Song Yisher couldn't agree with this point of view. She had been jealous of Hwamin many times in the past. It was because Hwamin was loved by Chin Chu. If Chin Chu didn't love Hwamin, then it would be the biggest joke in the world. What do you know? Chin Chu loves Hwamin selfishly. He married her because she's a genius. It's been like this since high school. Chin Chu is too scheming. He schemed to get Hwamin so that he can use her to help his career. They're both selfish. I won't let them get away with it. So you'll ruin their wedding? Song Yisher asked. No, I won't ruin their wedding, because they won't even have a chance to hold their wedding. Within 3 days, I'll divorce them. Wasichyan smiled proudly. After I deal with Chin Chu, I'll let Hwamin go back to the Hua family, Wasichyan added. Song Yisher looked at Wasichyan and suddenly felt like she was looking at a serious mental patient. It was too scary. It's possible that they can't hold their wedding, but it's impossible for them to get a divorce, Song Yisher vowed. She felt like it was almost impossible for Chin Chu and Hwamin to get a divorce. Chapter 1472. You'll see. I'll let you see it. Wasichyan smiled again, then, his hand stopped at Song Yisher's shoulder. The yellow tape was very tight, and there were white bumps in between the 2 strips of tape. Wasichyan took the sharp wallpaper knife and gently cut her arm. Immediately, a clear line of blood appeared. Song Yisher let out a muffled groan. Although it wasn't particularly painful, it was really, the feeling, was indescribable. If she thought that this was the end, then she was wrong, because what Wasichyan did next completely drove Song Yisher crazy. Wasichyan cut all over her body, except for her exposed skin. Song Yisher was instantly covered in wounds. There were so many small cuts all over her body, and they hurt. Wasichyan, you pervert. Song Yisher cursed angrily. Yeah, I am a pervert. Wasichyan looked at Song Yisher with his extremely innocent eyes. She was about to go crazy from anger, but even then, the torture wasn't over. Wasichyan didn't soften at all as he watched Song Yisher's wounds continue to bleed. I've bled so much. Will I die? Sob sob, are you scared now? What were you thinking when you set me up? Actually, you're quite a cruel woman. I admire your poisonous heart, because we're the same kind. Pfft, who's the same kind as you? You're a big pervert, do you know that? Song Yisher knew that no matter how much she begged, Wasichyan wouldn't let her go, so she might as well curse him to her heart's content. Wasichyan calmly walked into the kitchen and took out a bag of seaweed salt. What are you doing? Song Yisher's heart was filled with fear. Wasichyan was too lazy to talk. He opened the bag, grabbed a handful of salt, and smeared it all over Song Yisher's wounds. Ah, she screamed like a pig being slaughtered. The wounds that didn't hurt that much were now excruciatingly painful. before Song Yisher could finish screaming, Hua Xiqian continued to smear the salt all over Song Yisher's body. That feeling was worse than death. Only now did Song Yisher realize how scary it was to offend Hua Xiqian. At the same time, she hated Qin Chu. If Qin Chu and Hua Min did this, they would have killed Hua Xiqian. But why didn't they kill Hua? Why did they have to pretend to be saints? By the time he finished torturing Song Yisher, it was already late at night. Hua Xiqian immediately drove away. He left Song Yisher alone in the cold mansion. An hour later, Hua Xiqian's subordinates sent her to the hospital. However, she didn't dare to say anything. If this matter was exposed, the consequences would be even worse. This time, she learned her lesson. The next morning, Qin Chu and Hua Min were at the hospital accompanying Qin Yuman for conservative treatment. Qin Chu's phone rang. He looked at the caller ID and hesitated. What's wrong? This was the first time that Hua Min saw a call that Qin Chu didn't want to answer. Nothing. I'm going out to take a call. For the first time, Qin Chu didn't answer the call in front of Hua Min. Hua Min almost thought that her husband was having a mistress. You little brat, why are you being so secretive about a phone call? Qin Yuman scolded. Ha, it's fine, Dad, it might be work, so it's not convenient. Hua Min understood Qin Chu very well. Qin Chu walked out of the room and picked up the phone. His voice was frighteningly cold. What do you want? Qin Chu, let's meet. Why should I meet you? Qin Chu hated Hua Xiqian very much. He didn't want to meet him at all. Haven't you always wanted to know about Hua Min's background? Come, I'll tell you everything I know. Qin Chu remained silent after hearing this. Chapter 1473. 4:30 p.m. today, Tianhai Road, Duoqin Bay. Before Qin Chu could respond, Hua Xiqian hung up the phone. When Qin Chu walked back into the room, his expression didn't look right. Hua Min put his father-in-law on an floor and covered him with a blanket. Then, he quietly pulled Qin Chu aside. What's wrong? Who called just now? A client, Mr. Qin replied calmly. That's impossible. What client could make you so angry? Was it Hua Xiqian? No, Qin Chu felt guilty. Was it really a good thing to have such a smart wife? His heart felt tired. He was afraid of being exposed even when he was lying. Then who was it? You don't know him. There's someone I don't know. Don't tell me he has a girlfriend. No, Mr. Qin said with a straight face. PSH, no fun. You're so serious even when I'm joking with you. Humph, you're so unromantic. Qin Chu was speechless. Was he really joking? Why did Qin Chu feel like he was extorting a confession? After Qin Chu went to the company, Hua Min went to Jiang Shaowei's house. Ever since the Jiang family found out the gender of the fetus, they treated Shaowei like she was their ancestor. She said she wanted to eat fish from the East China Sea, not from the South China Sea. She said she wanted to eat wild mountain forest, not Korean ginseng. In short, aside from the restrictions on her freedom, Jiang Shaowei's words were like an imperial edict. This also made her very easily irritated. In the end, Wei Liao had no choice but to call Zhu Lingling and Hua Min and ask them to keep her company. Su Changji's case hadn't been solved yet, and apparently, the Independent Commission Against Corruption had their eyes on Qin Chu. At such a sensitive time, Hua Xiqian called and asked for a meeting. Qin Chu had a feeling that it wasn't anything good, but it didn't seem like a trap. After all, it was broad daylight and they were on a beach. What kind of risk could there be? That afternoon, Qin Chu drove a low-key black Audi A8L to Duoqin Bay. It was the most beautiful beach by the sea and was one of GK's properties. Hua Xiqian had set the meeting place at Qin Chu's place. This method was really arrogant. This made Qin Chu very, very unhappy. Qin Chu, who was wearing a black cashmere coat, walked towards the beach like a gentleman. The beach in March was very cold, and there was basically no one there. When the waves came crashing over, they felt like they were about to freeze to death. It was past 4 in the afternoon, and the sun was about to set. The scenery by the sea was not beautiful. It just made people feel a little sad. Hua Xiqian was still wearing his flamboyant pink suit. He arrived 2 minutes earlier than Qin Chu. When Qin Chu arrived, he was looking into the distance alone. "You're here." Hua Xiqian was the first to speak. Qin Chu didn't say anything. "Look, the sunset is beautiful, right?" "The sunset is infinitely beautiful, but dusk is coming." "Qin Chu, you've been glorious for so long, and your dusk is coming soon." "What do you mean?" Qin Chu looked coldly at Hua Xiqian. "I mean, your era is coming to an end." "Ha, did you forget to bring your medicine?" Qin Chu thought that Hua Xiqian was a little narcissistic. He didn't even do anything yet, but he was already thinking nonsense. "Trust me, I will fulfill my promise." "I don't have time to listen to your crazy words, my time is precious." "You better make it short." "Also, if you think that you can defeat me by allying with those old guys at real estate and using Su Changji to threaten me, then you're too naive." Qin Chu had already turned the tables, and he didn't care about Hua Xiqian's despicable methods at all. He wasn't afraid of him. It was only because his father was sick that he didn't have time to deal with him. "You're wrong. I didn't expect to defeat you with these are just appetizers. There's more to come. What are you up to now?" Qin Chu stared at Hua Xiqian. "Cancel the wedding on the 28th, are you kidding me?" Qin Chu sneered. "I want to see you guys get a divorce." "Hua Xiqian, what the fuck are you talking about?" Qin Chu was normally a good-tempered person, but Hua Xiqian forced him to swear. It was obvious how angry Mr. Qin was right now. Cancel the wedding? Divorce? These were things that he couldn't accept. Chapter 1474. Faced with Qin Chu's mockery, Hua Xiqian didn't get angry. Instead, he laughed. He turned to look at the sea and the setting sun in the distance and slowly said, "You know, I like her a lot." Qin Chu didn't reply. Instead, he looked at him with an indifferent gaze. "You must be curious why I liked her so long ago but never confessed, right?" Hua Xiqian asked. Qin Chu said coldly, "I am indeed curious. I liked her many years ago. Back then, she was only a 10-year-old child. I met her before you, much earlier than you, but she liked you, and that pissed me off, but I couldn't do anything about it. Back then, I was living like a dog in the Hua family. You know, that stud Hua Zhenghai was looking for women everywhere, and that bitch Shinjiani was cheating on him, but she had to pretend to be loyal and scheming. Those two idiots, Hua Yanyan and Hua Si, always thought that they were the legitimate ones and acted all high and mighty. My perverted foster mother, on the other hand, still liked to play SM. She would always strip me naked in the middle of the night and whip me. Even if I was covered in wounds, no one would care, because to the Hua family, I was just a dog. How could I confess to Hua Mian like that? Ha ha ha." After saying this, Hua Xiqian laughed to himself. Qin Chu, on the other hand, was a little shocked. He always knew that Hua Xiqian didn't have a good life in a family like the Hua family when he was young. However, he didn't expect it to be this bad. No wonder his entire aura was so strange. It turned out that this freak was a product of the Hua family. This also proved why he hated everyone in the Hua family so much. "I endured all the humiliation and survived until now. Wasn't it so that I could turn things around one day? Now that I've done it, it's time for me to take back what I lost." Chin-Chu knew that the thing he was talking about was Hua-min. You didn't lose it, because it wasn't yours to begin with. So what if you met her earlier than me? The order of appearance in life is very important. What do you think a 10-year-old girl would know? Even if you confessed, Mion wouldn't like you. Haha, that might not be the case. Don't be so sure. We can't turn back time, so we can't find out what would have happened if I had confessed first. I don't want to find out either. I just want to be with her for the rest of my life. To me, she's the only ray of sunshine in my dark life, and the only thing I can think of. She is my life. If you take away my life, do you think I can still live? Chin-Chu was slightly annoyed. Haha, that's not for me to worry about. I don't care what other people think, and I don't care if they're happy or not. I only care about myself. As long as I'm happy, that's enough. I think Mion will be happy too. She'll hate you to death, Chin-Chu corrected him. No, life is still long. One day, Mion will understand me and my love for her. Cut the crap, I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. Aren't you going to tell me about Mion's background? Chin-Chu was losing his patience. He didn't want to argue with a lunatic about who liked Hua-min first and who truly loved Hua-min. Because it was meaningless, Hua-min was his woman, and no one could say anything about it. This was the undeniable truth. Hua Xiqian tossed over a brown paper bag that he had been carrying. It's all here, take a look. Chin-Chu couldn't wait to open it and read the words, photos, and all kinds of data on each page. After reading it, he was truly shocked. He was speechless for a long time. He had guessed that Mion's family was special, but he didn't expect it to be like this. It was really unexpected. Is it fun? Haha, now you know why she's so talented, right? It's because everyone in her family is insanely smart. Mion's sister is the most troublesome. She's famous all over the world and is the most wanted criminal in Interpol, and her father is a headache for the National Security Bureau of America, FA. Hua Xiqian didn't continue. Chin-Chu's hand that was holding the brown paper bag began to tremble slightly. Chapter 1475. I can't believe that Mion is, haha, what's so surprising about that? Hua Xiqian smiled proudly. When did you find out about this? A long time ago. So, the people in Dong Tao Town who tried to stop me from investigating her background were your people. Chin-Chu had been investigating Hua-min's background for a long time, but he was never able to find out. Someone must have been behind it. Hua Xiqian nodded. Some, but not all. Who else? Chin-Chu frowned slightly. Mion's father. Her father. Yeah, her biological father, but why did he do that? Shouldn't he be in a hurry to find his biological daughter? Doesn't he want to see his daughter? Why did he stop it? Chin-Chu couldn't imagine why her biological father would stop his daughter from investigating her background. That's because, take a look at this first. It's not something that can be explained in a few sentences. Hua Xiqian took out the last piece of paper from his pocket and handed it to Hua Xiqian. Chin-Chu took it and looked at it slowly. His face turned pale. Mion's family misses her a lot, but because of this, they don't dare to see her. Her sister came to see City once and even went to South Side to see her. She used a special method, but Mion probably still doesn't know about it. Once her identity is exposed, she'll be in great danger. You spent 7 years in the States, so I don't need to tell you how powerful this organization is. I'm not trying to scare you, but if people find out about Mion's relationship with her father and sister, she'll be forever. Stop talking. Chin-Chu roared, interrupting Hua Xiqian. So you should know that Mion's family can recognize each other, but they can't. Chin-Chu fell silent again. no wonder Hua Xichen told him to stop investigating, because there wouldn't be any results. Even someone as powerful as Rick would face many obstacles when investigating this matter. It turned out that this was a big deal. No wonder her family didn't look for their daughter even though they knew she was swapped. It seemed like Mian's father really loved his daughter. He was just using another method to protect her and show his fatherly love. Seeing Qin Chu's silence, Hua Xichen smiled and said, "There's one more thing you might not know." "What?" "Jingde's death. In fact, your parents were used as bait." "What do you mean?" Hearing the cause of Huamin's stepfather's death, Qin Chu raised his head abruptly. "Jingde isn't that simple. You were all fooled by him. He knew all along that Mian's identity was swapped because he did it himself. He did it because Yang Meirong's baby was stillborn. Jingde still had feelings for Yang Meirong and was worried that she would be heartbroken, so he worked with Dr. Lan from Dongtao Hospital to swap the baby. At the time, Huamin's parents were being hunted and had to take refuge in Dongtao Hospital. Coincidentally, Mian's mother took Huamin in that hospital, so Jingde swapped the baby and lied to her parents that their baby was dead. Mian's parents thought something was wrong, but they were being hunted down and didn't have time to investigate in the hospital. When they came back after leaving the country, Dr. Lan was gone. At that time, the organization had already started investigating, and Huamin's father arranged for an informant in Dongtao town to keep quiet about it. Later, Jingde somehow found out about this and wanted to make a fortune. He wanted to leak Huamin's identity. Before they could negotiate a price, Mian's father got involved and killed Jingde. "That's good, it saves me the trouble of killing him." "You're saying Jingde betrayed Mian. Then he was killed by Mian's father's men." The plot twist was so fast that Qin Chu couldn't believe it. Chapter 1476. Yeah. Your parents were just scapegoats. They felt guilty for so many years, huh? So my driver, the one who killed Jingde, works for Mian's father. Qin Chu was completely confused. Back then, Huamian had abandoned him because of this. The thing that had troubled them for 7 years turned out to be a conspiracy. It was Mian's biological father who set it up. He couldn't accept it. But was Jingde really that kind of person? Didn't he love Huamin? You can think of it that way. But I'm not sure if Mian's father paid off your driver or if they were really friends. So, Mian's father is really a powerful man. He has a lot of influence internationally and has a good relationship with the leaders of many countries. Unfortunately, because of that incident in that organization, he had to protect his daughter. After all, he didn't want his daughter to live such a bloody life. Her sister's life wasn't easy either. I see. Qin Chu finally understood why he felt that the forces in Dongtao town were weird when he went there to investigate. It turned out that there were 2 forces. No, there were 3 forces. There was also a group of vicious people looking for Huamin. You know what? In your eyes, you might think that I'm an extremely evil person who can do anything. Aren't you? Qin Chu asked coldly. I am, but, compared to those people, I'm nothing. Those people are the real desperados. If they catch Mian, there won't be anything left of her. So, Mian's identity must be kept a secret. Will you keep her a secret? Qin Chu would definitely keep Huamin's identity a secret because Huamin's life depended on it. But would Hua Xichen? She liked Huamin, but, of course I can, but you have to divorce her first. That's impossible, Qin Chu immediately rejected. I want you two to divorce within 24 hours, or else I will announce Mian's identity to the world. You want her to die? Qin Chu scowled. No, I want her to live more than anyone else. But if she lives and wants to be with you, no, I don't want to see that. So I'd rather she die than let her be with you. Hua Xichen, you are really vicious. Qin Chu had never hated someone so much. For the first time, he hated Hua Xichen from the bottom of his heart. He used Hua Min's life to threaten him. Thank you for the compliment. I've always been like this. Hua Xichen continued to smile. That expression was as annoying as it could get. Why should I believe you? How do I know you didn't make these stories up? Qin Chu suppressed the anger in his heart and questioned Hua Xichen. You can choose not to believe me. You can investigate it yourself. But your time is limited. I said I'll only give you 24 hours. You can take the risk and hold your wedding with Mian. Let's see if those people will show up at your wedding after I announce the news in advance. Haha, Hua Xichen had been speaking casually, but every word he said was like a knife stabbing into Qin Chu's body. At this moment, Qin Chu was infuriated. He suddenly took out a gun from his pocket and aimed it at Hua Xichen's head, because they were very close. Once he fired, it would be a one-shot kill. Shoot me. If I die, 24 hours later, Mian's identity will be announced. One of the terms of my will is that if I die, no matter how I die, my lawyer will help me send Mian's identity directly to the headquarters of those people. Hua Xichen, you're fucking crazy. Qin Chu didn't expect him to be so ruthless. Chapter 1477. If I die, Mian dies too. How happy would that be? We can keep each other company on the road to the afterlife. In your dreams. Even if you die, you won't have her. Qin Chu pressed the gun to Hua Xichen's head, then, he gently pulled the trigger. He really wanted to kill this psycho with one shot, but he couldn't take the risk. He had heard of that organization many times in the States. Everyone was terrified by their name. Even powerful people like Hua Min's father and Hua Min's sister couldn't deal with them. Let alone someone as weak as Hua Min. They weren't even on the same level. Hua Xichen's expression was relaxed from beginning to end because he knew Qin Chu wouldn't shoot him. Either you kill me, and I die, and Mian dies. Or you go back to your life and wait for me to announce Mian's death. Or you divorce her and leave her. I'll keep this secret for the rest of my life, and we'll live in peace. Qin Chu, you're a smart man, I know what you'll choose. After Hua Xichen finished speaking, Qin Chu smashed the gun into Hua Xichen's left cheek. His left cheek immediately began to swell up. I'm going to fucking kill you, you animal. Qin Chu punched him again. Hua Xichen didn't even fight back. He knew that Qin Chu would react like this. Normal people couldn't take this kind of provocation, let alone someone as cold as Qin Chu. If you're done, go home and think. You don't have much time left. You only have 23 hours, 58 minutes, and 30 seconds left. Qin Chu stopped punching him and put away his gun. Qin Chu turned around and left. I'll be waiting for your good news, Hua Xichen shouted arrogantly behind him, and then he laughed out loud. He knew that Qin Chu would definitely do that. After Qin Chu got in the car, he sped all the way. Then, he found a quiet place and burned all the things in the craft paper bag. He knew that it was useless because Hua Xichen had a lot of backups. Once Mian's identity was made public, she could reunite with her father and sister, but she would enter another world. At that time, he would no longer have such a peaceful life. He didn't want Mian to live like that at all. That was why Mian's biological father had never looked for her, even though he loved her very much. In fact, which father wouldn't love his daughter? She could see news about Hua Min in the newspapers and on TV every time. They would all feel very happy. It was already 6:30 p.m. when Qin Chu drove back to South Hill Manor. Honey, you came back just in time. We can eat now. I asked the kitchen to make rose buns. They're delicious. I also made hot and sour soup, and sea fish. They're all your favorites. Ha, you've been too tired recently. You need to nourish yourself. Emichim, Chin Chu was a little listless. No matter how excited Huamin was, he remained expressionless. Honey, what's wrong? What happened at the company? Haven't you solved it yet? It's solved. Is it because the ICAC is investigating you? Did Su Changji smear your reputation again? No. Is it because of Dad's illness? I believe that with you as the surgeon, Dad will recover, Huamin comforted. No. Then why do you look like I owe you money? Smile, you don't look good with a dark face. Huamin hugged Chin Chu's neck coquettishly. Chin Chu suddenly hugged Huamin tightly with both hands. It was as if he was afraid of losing her. Huamin froze. Ahem, we're in public. Be careful. This is the living room. Everyone is watching. South Hill Manor was so big that there were more than 10 maids, housekeepers, and chauffeurs. Don't move, let me hug you. Chin Chu hugged Huamin reluctantly. He hugged her so tightly that it was as if he wanted to embed her into his body. Honey, did something happen? Huamin was so smart that it was impossible for her not to feel anything. Chapter 1478. No. Chin Chu sighed slightly. In the end, he didn't tell Huamian about it. If he came clean and told Huamian about her past, with her personality, she would immediately rush out to find her father and sister. Once his identity was revealed, he would live a different life from then on. Chin Chu didn't want Huamian to live a life of being hunted down and threatened. He didn't want his Huamian to not be able to sleep well and worry about being killed or kidnapped. After all, she had lived as an ordinary person for more than 20 years. She didn't have a tough life like her sister, plus, with her personality, she couldn't be protected forever. This was why Chin Chu finally decided to do this after careful consideration. Honey, you look tired. A little. Chin Chu's voice sounded tired. Should I ask Uncle Lee to ask someone to bring dinner to our bedroom? No need, let's just eat here. Chin Chu let go of Huamin. Then, the two of them quietly ate dinner. During the entire process, Chin Chu didn't say a word. Huamin felt like something was wrong. Honey, is there something on your mind? No. Is today's food not to your liking? No. Then why are you? Before Huamin could finish, Chin Chu raised his head. Honey, let's eat. He was implying that Huamian should stop talking. Let's just eat in peace. For the first time, Huamin felt so uneasy. Chin Chu wasn't usually like this. They had been together for so long, whether it was 7 years ago or in school. Even when they got married 7 years later, he had never been like this. He couldn't describe this feeling. He always felt like he was impatient with you and had no patience. Huamin felt that Chin Chu wasn't the kind of person who got tired of people easily, and he wouldn't believe that he didn't love him anymore. Could it be that he was under too much pressure recently and couldn't take it anymore? Huamin ate his dinner in silence while letting his imagination run wild. When they finally finished eating, Chin Chu was about to go upstairs when Huamin grabbed his arm tightly. Honey, don't make a fuss. I'm going to take care of business. You're not allowed to go. Watch TV with me downstairs. Chin Chu was speechless. People say that people who can't separate work from life are fools. Life is limited, but work is endless, and money is endless. We can't sacrifice our lives for money. You're already off work, but you still have to use your personal time to deal with work. It's so unfair to me, Mian. Chin Chu tried to persuade her. No, no means no. You have to accompany me. Otherwise, I'll cry. As he spoke, Huamin looked at Qin Chu with tears in his eyes. It was as if he was about to cry at any moment. Qin Chu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He dotingly patted Huamin's head. Okay, don't cry. I'll be with you. That's great, yay. Huamin's tears immediately turned into laughter. The speed at which she changed could be called the best actress. The truth was, Qin Chu was afraid to see Huamin. He was afraid to be by her side. He was actually very conflicted. On one hand, he wanted to be with her as much as he could. He might not have the chance to do so in the future. On the other hand, he didn't dare to see her face to face because he was afraid that he wouldn't have the heart to tell her about the divorce. With Huamin's personality, he definitely wouldn't accept a divorce. After all, it came too suddenly and there was no foreshadowing. However, in the end, Qin Chu still couldn't bear to see Huamin cry, even though he knew that she was doing it on purpose. He still tolerated her little tantrums. Huamin pulled Qin Chu to sit on the sofa in the living room and watched the recently released new Calabash Brothers. Qin Chu was so shocked that he couldn't believe what he was hearing. Huamin, on the other hand, was very happy. Honey, your taste has been a little. Qin Chu was a little speechless at Huamin's taste recently. Chapter 1479. It's a little unique, right? Hee, I actually learned it from Cece. Cece. Qin Chu didn't know how to react. Idiot, you mean Rick's girlfriend? Qin Chu was speechless. She really likes to watch cartoons, so I've been watching them with her. She recommended a lot of cartoons on WeChat, and I'm going to watch them one by one. This new version of the Calabash Brothers is really cute, even their clothes are a lot fresher. Huamin watched with great interest as she leaned her head against Qin Chu's chest. She ate potato chips and watched cartoons at the same time. She was extremely happy. She wanted to use this relaxing method to relieve the pressure on Qin Chu's heart. However, what she didn't know was that Qin Chu's pressure came from her. It was a pressure that couldn't be relieved, because this was related to her life and her fate from now on. Qin Chu had thought countless times that he couldn't lose Huamin, even if it meant death. However, if he had to choose between Huamin's life and leaving Huamin, he chose to leave. He had to keep Huamin alive. There was only hope if she was alive. If they were both alive, even if they were at the ends of the earth, they would still miss each other. When you look up, you'll see that we're both in the same sky. We'll see the same sun rise and set, and we'll see the same moon. Honey, yeah. What are you thinking about? I think you're spacing out. Huamin raised her head and looked at Qin Chu. She noticed that he was distracted and his eyes were wandering around. It's really nothing. Honey, you don't have to worry about the wedding, I've already arranged everything. You've been really busy lately, so I've decided on a lot of things myself. I've decided on the wedding dress. I'm sure I'll look amazing in it. That damned Lingling is going to be my bridesmaid, and she said that she's going to dress prettier than me. She wants to see if she can steal the limelight. There will be a lot of people on that day. I'm a little nervous just thinking about it. What about you, are you nervous? Mian, We can't hold the wedding. I'm really sorry. Qin Chu enunciated each and every word. Huamin was only slightly startled. Then he smiled and said, Okay, I got it. Then we'll wait until after Dad's surgery. When we have time, we'll make up for it. This is nothing. Don't look so bitter and hateful, okay? I thought you owed him a lot of money. It was normal for Huamin to feel a little disappointed that the wedding could not be held as planned. She also understood that Qin Chu had too many things to do recently. It was not too late to wait for her father-in-law to recover. It was going to happen sooner or later anyway. She couldn't run away. Chin Chu saw that Huamin was so reasonable and considerate that he was willing to sacrifice himself to deal with it for his sake. The more his heart ached, he knew that Huamian had put a lot of effort into planning this wedding, but, look at you, I already agreed. Why are you still so sad? Huamin raised his finger and teased Chin Chu. His fingertips slid across his chiseled chin. Huamin. Let's get a divorce. After a long silence, Chin Chu finally made up his mind and said what he wanted to say. What did you say? Huamin thought he heard wrong. I said. Huamin, let's get a divorce. Chin Chu slowly repeated this sentence again. He felt his heart begin to bleed. Drop by drop, it seeped into every cell in his body. He didn't dare to look into Huamin's eyes. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to take it. Chapter 1480. Huamin stared at Chin Chu's face for 3 seconds, then, she laughed out loud. Honey, you're scaring me again. Don't do this, we can joke about anything, but don't joke about divorce, it's bad luck, really. My mom said that if we keep joking about divorce, we'll really get divorced in the end. Mian, I'm not joking. After speaking, Chin Chu stood up and walked upstairs. Huamin also stood up and followed Chin Chu upstairs. She was a little flustered, even if it was a joke, it still made her uncomfortable. She wanted to see what her husband was up to, was it a surprise for her? In the bedroom on the 2nd floor, Huamin followed Chin Chu into the room. Before she could say anything, Chin Chu took out a piece of paper from somewhere. He casually handed it to her and placed it on the bed. Take a look, if there's no problem, sign it. Huamin didn't take the paper, she just glanced at it. The words on the paper were very eye-catching, divorce agreement. Honey, stop messing around, I'll stop watching cartoons, okay? You can't punish me like this. Mian, don't you understand? This isn't a joke. I'm not joking. I don't believe you. Chin Chu fell silent. Why? Why are you suddenly getting a divorce? The two of us. Aren't we fine? Chin Chu continued to remain silent. Is it because you think that going against Wasichen will lead to a lot of trouble in the future, and you're afraid that you'll drag me down with you? No. Then you're afraid that the company will go bankrupt because of him. You're afraid that I'll live a hard life with you. No. Then you're afraid that if Dad's surgery fails, you won't be able to handle it and break down, dragging me down with you. No, I'll do my best with Dad. I'm prepared for the good and the bad, it has nothing to do with the divorce. Then why are you getting a divorce? There has to be a reason. Huamin looked at Chin Chu innocently. She didn't know what she did wrong. Why did he suddenly mention divorce before the wedding? It was simply unimaginable. Chin Chu still didn't say anything. Huamin was really angry this time. She tore the divorce agreement on the bed in front of Chin Chu. If you don't tell me the reason, I won't agree to the divorce. Mian, don't be like this, how is it? Huamin smiled bitterly. Don't make things difficult for me. Let's part on good terms. Make things difficult for you. Let's part on good terms. Chin Chu, it's easy for you to say. Who was the one who provoked me first and vowed to treat me to noodles for the rest of my life? Who was the one who left without saying a word for 7 years, then came back to kiss me at the class reunion, and then used all kinds of methods to force me to get married with you? Are all the promises from back then now treated as nothing? You want a divorce just because you want to part on good terms? Am I, Huamin, really such a coward? I'm at your mercy. You want to get married, you want to get divorced, you want to leave. What do you take me for? When Chin Chu repeatedly mentioned the word divorce, Huamin was really furious. She glared at Chin Chu and questioned him. Chin Chu still turned his head away, not daring to look at Huamin. He heard everything Huamin said, but he couldn't answer. After 3 seconds of silence, Chin Chu said, "When it comes to the division of assets, just let me know what you want. I'll satisfy you." Chin Chu, are you even human? Do you also think that I married you for your money? Why would I care about your family's assets? Chapter 1481. A day as husband and wife means endless devotion for the rest of your life. Even if we're separated, I don't want to treat you badly. Write down whatever you want here. Then, Chin Chu took out a divorce agreement and placed it in front of Huamin. Huamin felt her heart sink. Chin Chu had prepared so much. It seemed like Chin Chu really wanted a divorce. Huamin picked up the divorce agreement, picked up a pen, and wrote down the words, GK Corporation, in the division of assets column. Aren't you going to compensate me? I want your GK Corporation, give it to me. Huamin was furious, yet, she still had to pretend to be calm. If you want it, that's not a problem. Chin Chu was even calmer and colder than she was. Chin Chu, what do you mean? Do you have to divorce me? You're willing to give me the company just to get rid of me? Do you hate me that much? It's been a year, and you're already sick of me, right? Huamin was so angry that she couldn't hold back her tears. Chin Chu seemed especially heartless today. He didn't even look at her from beginning to end. Huamin felt like she was going to die from sadness. Chin Chu didn't say anything. After a while, Huamin took a deep breath and asked Chin Chu in a trembling voice, "We've been together for so long, and we know each other very well. You can't lie to me. I don't know why you have to divorce me, but this really hurts. We're both adults, and this isn't as simple as playing house. Have you really thought this through? You've thought this through, haven't you?" "Yes," Chin Chu said with difficulty. Huamin felt like something was tearing at her heart, and it hurt all of a sudden. "Do you really want a divorce?" Huamin asked again. She knew that Chin Chu would be lying if he said that he was tired, or something like that, or that there was a third party. No one knew each other better than the two of them. Therefore, Chin Chu simply didn't say the reason, because no matter what he said, Huamin wouldn't believe him. "Yes." Chin Chu nodded again. "Let me ask you one last question. You wanted me to sign the divorce papers, right?" Huamin asked as he looked at Chin Chu, choking with sobs. Chin Chu's heart was already on the verge of collapse, but for the sake of Huamin, he had to get through this. He was still barely holding on, strong and calm. "Yes." He gritted his teeth and nodded again. The moment Chin Chu acquiesced, Huamin couldn't stop his tears from rolling down again. "Okay, then I'll sign it, as you wish." After speaking, Huamin picked up the second divorce agreement Chin Chu prepared and signed it with Huamin. She wasn't in the mood to read the clauses, then the division of assets. Chin Chu glanced at Huamin, but she didn't write anything. "You don't have anything, so why would I want those worldly possessions? Haha, when I married you, I had nothing. Now that I'm leaving, I won't take anything with me. So be it, if this is what you want, then so be it." After speaking, Huamin turned around and began to pack her clothes from the closet. It was already very late at night. Huamin packed very slowly. She thought that Chin Chu would ask her to stay, or at least tell her that it was very late and that she could leave tomorrow. Perhaps if she stayed for one more night, then the outcome would be different. However, to her surprise, Chin Chu said, "It's too late, I'll get the driver to take you to Sky Blessing Court in a bit." After hearing this, Huamin's heart sank. Her last hope had been dashed. It seemed like after the divorce, he didn't even want her to stay for one more night. Chapter 1482. In the end, she didn't say anything. Huamin had a lot of clothes in her wardrobe, but she only took a few that she usually wore. Then, she went downstairs without a word. She didn't even look at Qin Chu. She was angry at Qin Chu because she knew that Qin Chu was hiding something from her. He didn't want to tell her or discuss it with her before deciding to divorce her. This made her very, very angry. When the chauffeur drove Huamin to Sky Blessing Court, it was almost midnight. She had the key to Sky Blessing Court, so she didn't go upstairs and wake her mother. After returning to her room, Huamin didn't feel sleepy at all. She sat on the bed in a daze. She didn't wash her face or shower because she was afraid that Qin Chu would change his mind and call her. She couldn't hear him. She just stared at the phone quietly, but the phone was very quiet. Half an hour passed just like that, but it was still silent. He didn't even ask if she was home. He was never like this before. 1 second, he was hurting to the bone, and the next second, he was cold and indifferent. Huamin knew that Qin Chu wasn't like this. She knew that he must have encountered something difficult. She picked up her phone and called Gao Ran. Hello. Huamin. Gao Ran's voice was muffled. It was obvious that he wasn't awake yet. Where are you? At Lingling Apartments. Have you contacted Qin Chu recently? Yeah, I called him a few days ago to ask him out for drinks, but he wasn't in a good mood, so he said he'd ask me out another day. Then, do you know what he's been through recently? Huamin asked. Does the fact that Su Changji framed him and he was investigated by the ICAC count? Gao Ran asked. Other than that. The entertainment company isn't doing well either. Wasn't it suppressed by the whole corporation? Is there anything else? Other than the company? Huamin asked tentatively. That's all. You know basically everything I know. You definitely know more than me. You're his wife. What's wrong? Did something happen between you and Qin Chu? It's fine. Go to sleep. Huamin hung up the phone and realized that Gao Ran didn't know either. She then called Rick, because these two were Qin Chu's best friends. Rick. Huamin, go ahead. Did Qin Chu contact you today? No, what's wrong? Did he say anything to you? No. Oh, okay. What's wrong? Rick was curious. I'm fine. Huamin now felt that she was probably the first and only one to know about Qin Chu's divorce. Qin Chu didn't tell anyone. She was still worried and planned to ask him tomorrow when she had the chance. Or she could hire a detective company to investigate and find out what happened. With Qin Chu's cautious and calm personality, he wouldn't divorce for no reason. Huamin had a feeling that something was going to happen to Qin Chu. Huamin's heart still ached when she thought of the heartless words Qin Chu had just said. She didn't sleep the whole night and just stared blankly at her phone. She really hoped that Qin Chu would call her and tell her. Honey, I'm sorry. I was just teasing you. Even if it was just a prank, she really hoped that none of this was real. After Rick received Huamin's call, he was very worried. He was having dinner with Cece at a Hong Kong restaurant, so he anxiously sent Cece home. Then he called Qin Chu, but his phone was turned off. He felt that something was wrong and drove directly to South Hill Manor. At South Hill Manor, Rick met Qin Chu. He took Rick directly to his underground wine cellar. The cellar was decorated like a cafe, and it was filled with all kinds of wine that Qin Chu had collected. In addition to limited edition red wine, there was also a lot of China's traditional white wine. Qin Chu poured a glass of white wine and handed one to Rick. Then he drank the glass in his hand. Seeing Qin Chu's depressed expression, Rick finally stopped pretending to be cool. What happened between you two? Huamin just called me. His tone was very serious, and he seemed to want to ask me something. Chapter 1483. Oh, Qin Chu responded faintly. What happened? Did you two fight? We didn't fight, we got a divorce. Rick was glad that he didn't have time to drink the wine in his glass, or else he would have choked. Divorce? Are you kidding me? Rick's first reaction was that this was a joke. I'm not kidding, it's true. Why? Rick froze. Seeing Qin Chu's serious expression, it didn't seem like he was joking. Qin Chu held his wine glass and leaned against the wine cabinet behind him. Then, he sighed slightly. It has to do with Mion's background. You found out about her background? I didn't, Hua Xiqin told me. Hua Xiqin. This time, Rick was even more surprised. Yeah. Qin Chu nodded, and then he briefly explained Huamin's background to Rick. He picked out some key points. Because the information was burned, he could only say that Rick recounted it. Rick was just as shocked as Qin Chu when he heard what Huamian said. I can't believe that Huamin is that woman's sister, and I definitely didn't expect her father to be. I didn't expect it either. But, it's such a secretive thing, we can't find out. How did Hua Xiqin find out? Also, he secretly planted a force in Dong Tao Town. Huamin's father isn't that careless. Rick used to think that Hua Xiqin wasn't a simple person, but this was too amazing. Even the powerful Rick family overseas couldn't find out, but Hua Xiqin knew about it. And he knew about it a long time ago. How amazing. I didn't ask Hua Xiqin about it, but I'm guessing he might have some mysterious connection with that organization. Do you remember? Should we investigate the 6 years Hua Xiqin studied in Germany? Yes, they're all blank. This doesn't make sense. No one can't find anything after staying abroad for 6 years. Rick suddenly remembered that when he told Qin Chu about this matter, he felt that it was quite strange. You suspect that he's also a member of that organization? Rick was slightly surprised. It's hard to say. There's no evidence. What do you plan to do now? Let's get a divorce first. What I'm afraid of the most right now is that Mion's identity will be exposed, and she'll be killed. You know, Mion is different from her sister. That girl grew up under the gun, and she's used to it. But my Mion, in the past 24 years, other than being a professional doctor, she hasn't learned any skills to protect herself. I definitely won't take that risk, not at all. But, are you willing? Rick felt sorry for his brother. He always knew how much Qin Chu loved Huamin. Asking him to initiate a divorce and be cruel to her until the end was too much for him. I don't want to, more than anyone else. But there's no other way. Hua Xiqin, you should know that he's capable of anything. I'm always at a disadvantage against him because I have a bottom line. But he doesn't. Yes, he's killed enough people to die 100 times over. Rick knew Hua Xiqin's methods of killing people with different blood types. Qin Chu poured himself another glass of liquor and downed it in one gulp. He only felt a ball of fire burning in his heart. Although the divorce was forced, it was a delaying tactic. He had to deal with Hua Xiqin first. Then, he could slowly explain to Mion, no matter what, as long as he was alive, there would be hope. Huamin didn't receive a call from Qin Chu the entire night. In the end, she couldn't take it anymore and fell into a deep sleep. At 6 a.m., she was awakened by the rapid ringing of her phone. Slightly. What's up? Mion, did you see the news headlines on your phone? Not yet, what's up? Take a look for yourself, Jiang Shaowei said in a heavy tone. Huamin returned to the call and clicked on the front page of the news. The big headline read, GK Corporation President Qin Chu announces divorce with his wife Huamin. Huamian felt her brain explode, as if it had collapsed at some point. He announced to the world that they were divorced. Chapter 1484. Huamin was dumbfounded. She thought that Qin Chu wouldn't tell anyone. After all, it was between the two of them. Now that he announced it, what was the meaning of this? Huamin's face turned slightly pale. Mian, are you still there? Jiang Xiaowei's voice came from the phone. I'm here. Are you okay? Slightly. I was divorced. What do you mean? I was forced into a divorce. I didn't want it. I don't know what's wrong with Qin Chu. Why would he do something like this? Ahem, did someone cast a spell on Mr. Qin? Jiang Xiaowei was shocked beyond words. I don't know, I really don't know. At this moment, Huamin couldn't stay calm anymore. She had lost the ability to think. Mian, calm down first. After all, I don't think Mr. Qin would do this for no reason. Maybe he set this up to deal with Hua Xichen. Huamin didn't say anything. Mian. Slightly, I'll talk to him later. I need to ask him. After speaking, Huamin got up and quickly changed her clothes and washed her face. When she went downstairs, she saw her mother preparing breakfast downstairs. Mian, when did you come back last night? How come I didn't know? I came back in the middle of the night. You were already asleep, so I didn't wake you up. Oh, come and have breakfast then. Yang Meirong didn't know much about the things on her phone, so she didn't see the headlines and didn't know what happened. Mom. I'm not eating, I need to go out for a bit. Huamin hurriedly left the house with her bag. A few minutes after she left, Yang Meirong was about to sit down for breakfast. Just then, she heard a piece of news on TV. The sweet-looking female host said with a serious expression, according to the latest news, GK's president, Mr. Qin Chu, announced at 5 a.m. today that he and his wife, Huamin, are ending their relationship and dividing their assets. After Yang Meirong heard this, the chopsticks in her hand fell to the ground. Patter, how could this be? Qin Chu and Mian, divorced. They even divided their assets. Didn't they just meet their in-laws a few days ago? They even talked about the betrothal gifts. Plus, Qin Chu liked Mian so much. How could he? Huamin's phone kept ringing along the way. Many people were asking her about the divorce. Lingling and Gao Ren also asked, but she didn't reply to any of them. Right now, she just wanted to find Qin Chu and ask him about it. This news had become the hottest topic at the moment. It became the top gossip on WeChat and Weibo. Many people began to guess the reason for Qin Chu and Huamian's divorce. Some people said that there was a third party involved. Some said that Huamin and GK were going their separate ways because of GK's crisis. Others said that this was just a publicity stunt for GK's stock market to recover. Maybe it was a fake divorce. After all, the parties involved didn't release a statement. Huamin took a taxi to GK, but Yang stopped her at the door of the president's office. A young lady, you can't go in. Why? The president isn't inside. I don't believe you. He really isn't. Yang actually sympathized with the young lady. He didn't know why the president would make such a terrible decision. However, he did receive orders not to let Huamin in if she came. Get out of my way. I have to see him today. I need to ask him some things in person. Huamin pushed Yang away and barged into the office. Chapter 1485. In the end, he found that it was really empty inside. A young lady, the president really didn't come to work. He's not in the company. If you don't believe me, you can search the entire building. Assistant Yang said helplessly. Then, where is he right now? Huamin asked in a hoarse voice. To be honest, I don't know either. The president called me last night and told me about today's work. Then, he disappeared. I can't get through to him. After Huamin heard what Assistant Yang said, he picked up his phone and dialed Qin Chu's number non-stop. Unfortunately, the number you have dialed is temporarily unavailable. No one knew where he went. While corporation headquarters, Hua Xiqin was eating a sumptuous breakfast in his office. He was in a great mood. President Hua, do you have any special plans for today? Nope, Hua Xiqin smiled proudly. He was very happy with this result. He knew that as long as it had something to do with Huamin, Qin Chu would do it without hesitation. 24 hours, Hua Xiqin gave him 24 hours, however, it only took him 12 hours for GK to officially announce the divorce. Hua Xiqin's efficiency was truly surprising. His little sister must be very sad right now, right? But it didn't matter, all of this would pass. He would definitely make her happy again. Inside the secret room on the top floor of Seductive Fox, didn't I tell you not to act rashly? You'll alert the enemy. Qin Chu's voice was calm, without a hint of blame. However, Rick felt a bit guilty. I didn't know he was that good. After Qin Chu left his home last night, Rick sent people to assassinate Hua Xiqin. However, the assassination failed, and none of the people he sent returned. Needless to say, Hua Xiqin wasn't that easy to deal with. He's not powerful. It's just that the power behind him, or rather, the person behind him is very powerful. Otherwise, why do you think he didn't leave any traces after killing so many people? Yeah, I'm curious too. Whether it's Huamin, Hua Xinghai, Jiang Linyue, or the people we sent to investigate Huamin's background, none of them seem to know anything. That's why I said we shouldn't be so rash. We must have a thorough plan to deal with him. Sometimes, you think too much of our opponents. Qin Chu said word by word. Rick's way of doing things was cold, but he wasn't that calm. He was more direct in his thinking. Anyone who stands in my way shall die. Therefore, after what happened last night, he wanted to kill Hua Xiqin directly. He had underestimated Hua Xiqin. Qin Chu was right. If Hua Xiqin was so simple, he would not be so arrogant today. From what he knew about Huamin's background, he must have a very powerful force behind him. Also, what did Hua Xiqin do during the 6 years he studied abroad in Germany? Why was it blank? Why couldn't they find anything? There were too many questions. Now, the 2 top-notch assassins that Rick had sent out had never returned. This made him reevaluate Hua Xiqin's power and shrewdness. The serial car accident that Song Yisher had set up before was a piece of cake. They couldn't even hurt a hair on Hua Xiqin's head. Qin Chu was right. Sometimes, one shouldn't think of their opponents as pigs. He still had to remember the lesson of carelessness and failure. What about you? What do you mean? Are you going to hide here forever? Can you not see Huamin for the rest of your life? Rick looked at Qin Chu and asked, I just can't face her. My heart hurts. Qin Chu felt like his heart was bleeding at the thought of Huamin. So you have to think of a way to deal with Hua Xiqin. Otherwise, how can you guarantee that Huamin won't get hurt? Now that you've announced the divorce with such fanfare, it might be even more hurtful to her. Qin Chu didn't say anything. Rick was right. Now, it was hurting Huamin. For the entire day, Huamin searched everywhere for Qin Chu, but to no avail. The company, South Hill Manor, the first hospital, he searched everywhere he could. Even Seductive Fox went, but they couldn't find a trace of Qin Chu. It was as if he had disappeared from the face of the earth. Evening, Huamin returned to Sky Blessing Court, exhausted. His mother immediately went up to him to ask about her. Mian, what's going on between you and Qin Chu? What's going on? Huamin said in a daze. His voice was so soft that he almost couldn't hear himself. Chapter 1486. Yeah, what happened to you guys? Why did I see on TV that you guys are divorced? Yang Meirong was so anxious that she called Huamin all day. It was as if she couldn't hear her, or if she heard, she wouldn't pick up. Just then, Huamin came back to her senses. She smiled and wrapped her arms around her mother's neck. Mom, it's okay. We're actually faking our divorce. Qin Chu set it up. Set it up? Why would he do that? It's because of the company and our competitors. Anyway, don't worry about it. Oh, right, I booked a flight to New Zealand for you tonight. You can stay at Jixin's place for a while, and everything will be fine after this incident passes. Why do you want me to leave? Did something happen, Mian? Yang Meirong was even more worried when she heard that she had to fly to New Zealand tonight. No, it's just that Qin Chu and I have to deal with the bad guys who set us up. Those people have no bottom line and will kidnap our loved ones to threaten us. So, in order to not distract us, you should stay in New Zealand for a while. The scenery there is beautiful, and Jixin misses you a lot. I already told him, he's really looking forward to it. Is that really the case? Yang Meirong still felt uneasy. Of course, why would I lie to you? Do you want to stay and distract me? No, then it's fine. I'll help you pack. Let's go. Before her mother could say anything, Huamin immediately rushed into her mother's bedroom. She did talk to Jixin on the phone during the day and told him in a relaxed tone that this was her and Qin Chu's plan. They wanted to send her mother to New Zealand for a while. Jixin had always trusted his sister, so he didn't ask anything and immediately agreed. Huamian sent her mother to New Zealand that very night, and she was finally relieved. After all, she didn't want her family to suffer with her. If her mother saw her haggard appearance, she would be heartbroken. At 1:00 in the morning, Huamian drove her mother to the airport. Huamin turned on the radio by chance and heard two anchors teasing her about her divorce with Qin Chu. Female host, if I were Huamin, I'd be satisfied. They've only been married for less than a year, but she's already got more than 1 billion yuan. I heard that Qin Chu not only gave her several luxury cars and mansions, but also $1 billion in savings from a Swiss bank. My God, she won't even be able to spend it all in her next life. Huamin smiled sadly. Yes, I've become a billionaire, but no amount of money can bring back the man I love, that's all. When they drove back to Sky Blessing Court, Huamin went upstairs to take a shower. When she returned to her bedroom, her WeChat exploded with messages. It was said that Qin Chu, who had never posted anything on Weibo before, had posted something 5 minutes ago. It was already 2:40 a.m., but he actually posted on Weibo at this time. Huamin hurriedly opened the Weibo app and clicked on Qin Chu's Weibo page. She saw the Weibo post. He wrote, "For the sake of husband and wife, in the past 3 lives, we were bound by fate. In this life, we are husband and wife. If we don't get along, it's just that we're enemies. If 2 people have different hearts, it's hard to reconcile. Therefore, we have to be fair. I hope that my wife will comb her eyebrows and hair again after parting, so that she'll look more enchanting. She'll choose another high-ranking official as her husband, so that we can resolve our grievances and not hate each other. From now on, we'll part ways and live happily." Seeing this, Huamin burst into tears again. We'll part ways and live happily. Chapter 1487. She never knew that Chin Chu was so good at writing. He wrote such a beautiful farewell letter. That's really good. Huamin trembled as she held her phone tightly. Her tears fell like pearls from a broken necklace. Chin Chu had been on Weibo for a long time, but he had never posted anything. Today, he only posted one, and it was to announce his divorce. Now, the media didn't have to guess anymore. He had admitted it. Was his account hacked? That was impossible. Chin Chu was a high-level hacker. Who could hack his account? Huamin took a deep breath to calm herself down. She sent a private message to Chin Chu. Do you really have to do this? She knew he was online, but she waited for a long time, but he didn't reply. Huamin's heart sank again. A minute later, Huamin updated her Weibo. Sometimes, you think it's going to last forever, but in the end, you realize that a moment can change everything. Sometimes, you feel like it's hard to continue, and it's going to be a lifetime. Relationships aren't something that can be planned out. The person who is willing to give everything for you today may be a stranger tomorrow. It turns out that a lifetime is so long. It's so long that everything changes. Chin Chu and Huamin both admitted their marriage on Weibo. The entire Sea City was in an uproar. Su Yu, who hadn't said anything all this time, was in his private villa. He held his phone and looked at Huamin's Weibo post. His heart began to hurt again. Shouldn't he be happy that Huamin was getting a divorce? Why did he feel so heartbroken when he saw her Weibo post? The Huamin of today, the Huamin who could write something like this, must be in so much pain that she wanted to die, right? So you typed 4 words in the private message box, "Are you okay?" Just as he was about to send it, he deleted it. He felt that what Huamin needed now was not comfort, but silence. Even if he did ask, "So what?" Huamin said that I was fine, but would he believe it? Huamin said that I wasn't good. How could he let her be good? This time, Su Yu, who had always been arrogant, was actually silent. Huamin had a sleepless night and sat alone until dawn. Sometimes she really hoped that this was a nightmare. 6 o'clock in the morning, Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling kept ringing the doorbell. After waiting for a long time, Huamin finally came downstairs to open the door. He wasn't as disheveled as they thought, nor was he as depressed as they thought. Huamin was wearing a white shirt with a navy blue bow tied at the collar. She looked very beautiful. Her face was very clean and she even had light makeup on. She even put on some blush. "Mian, are you okay?" Zhu Lingling was about to cry. After such a big thing happened, it was useless for them to worry. They called Huamin countless times, but she refused to answer. They sent her WeChat and messages, but she didn't reply. In the end, the two of them hit it off and went to Sky Blessing Court. Luckily, she was home. Otherwise, they would think that she had done something stupid. "I'm fine." Huamin smiled sadly and opened the door to let them in. "Where's Uncle?" Zhu Lingling glanced around but didn't see Huamin's mother. "She went to New Zealand." "When?" "Last night. You sent her away." "Yeah." Huamin nodded. Then, the three of them sat on the sofa and the atmosphere was very low. It was rare to be so depressed. Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling looked at each other and then asked, "Mian, what happened between you and Chin Chu?" Chapter 1488. To be honest, I don't know either. Didn't I tell you that I was really divorced? Huamian forced a smile on her face. Then, why did Mr. Qin do this? It's almost your wedding, why did he have to do this? Zhu Lingling was furious. I don't know. Huamin lowered his head. Did you ask him why? Jiang Shaowei asked quietly. I did, but he didn't want to tell me. But I know he must have his reasons. If he doesn't want to tell me, he doesn't want me to know, Huamin guessed. But, what kind of person would make him do such a crazy thing? He actually announced your divorce. Oh my god, when I saw what he said on Weibo, I almost thought his account was hacked. Oh right, I think you should find a fortune teller and see if Mr. Qin was really cursed by someone or something. No, he's normal. Don't think too much. Huamin immediately denied this reason. Qin Chu's thoughts and logic were normal. He didn't seem to be controlled by someone. Then, that's strange. You two didn't have a good talk? Jiang Shaowei asked. He didn't give me a chance. Then do you have any plans? Jiang Shaowei asked again. To be honest, I don't have any plans. Huamin's voice was hoarse. I also think you should talk to Mr. Qin. There's nothing a couple can't solve. There's no need to divorce. Zhu Lingling was also panicking. I want to, but he doesn't want to see me. He doesn't want to see you. This time, Jiang Shaowei and Zhu Lingling asked in unison. Yeah, he's been avoiding me. He's not at the company or at home. I don't know how to contact him. I have an idea. I heard that he's going to appear in court this afternoon. The trial for Su Changji's case will start today. After Qin Chu is indicted, he'll appear in court as a suspect. If he loses, he'll be in trouble. Did he divorce you because of this? Zhu Lingling immediately realized what Jiang Shaowei meant. No, this case is not difficult for him at all, Wang Yao said. Then let's go and see, we'll definitely see him outside the court. After a moment of silence, Huamin nodded. She really should see Qin Chu. Some things had to be said. She couldn't just leave him like this. At 4:00 p.m. that afternoon, Jiang Shaowei's RV was parked outside the courthouse's entrance. In Huamin, and Hua. After 10 minutes, Qin Chu's figure appeared. He was followed by his assistant, Yang. Anyways, the fact that Qin Chu was able to leave the courthouse safe and sound meant that he was fine. Huamin was relieved. She immediately got out of the car. She walked towards Qin Chu. Sir, a young lady is here, Yang reminded him. Qin Chu glanced at Huamin walking towards him. As expected, he steeled his heart and walked towards his Maybach. Then, he quickly opened the car door and got in. Huamin stood there awkwardly, a young lady. Sir has work to do in a bit. He's probably very busy. See you later. After saying this, Yang hurriedly got into the car as well, leaving Huamin standing there alone. Zhu Lingling got out of the car with a black scarf and put it on Huamin. What? He didn't see you. Let's go. Zhu Lingling grabbed Huamin's arm and was about to walk back. You guys go back first. Mian, you guys go back first. I'll wait here. Qin Chu, he'll come back. He won't leave me here. Chapter 1489. Huamin stood there and watched the Maybach drive away until it disappeared from her sight. No matter how Jiang Shaowei and Zhu Lingling tried to persuade her, she wouldn't leave. She just stood there dumbly at the entrance of the courtroom. After dark, the northern nights were bitterly cold. In the end, Jiang Shaowei had no choice but to call Su Yu. Lord Su, what is it? Can you come to the Supreme Court on Bibo Road? What's wrong? Huamin wants to talk to Qin Chu, but Qin Chu doesn't want to see her. She's been waiting here for more than an hour. I'm worried that she'll catch a cold. Can you come and talk to her? 3 seconds of silence. Su Yu replied, you guys can go, leave this to me. Okay. Jiang Xiaowei knew that Su Yu would definitely have a way. Qin Chu drove his Maybach back to the company. When Assistant Yang came in to deliver some documents, he saw that the president's expression was very scary. Sir, should we go back and take a look? I saw a young lady standing there, shut up. Yes. Assistant Yang didn't dare to say anything else. Qin Chu was in a very bad mood. He was silent for a while before he went downstairs again. This time, he drove a black Ford belonging to one of the company's employees. The car was parked on the side of the road 10 meters away. He saw Huamin, who was wearing a red cotton jacket, standing at the entrance like a rock, not moving at all. Qin Chu's heart ached again. He opened the car door and was about to persuade her to go home when he saw a high-profile black Lamborghini parked next to Huamin. He closed the door and sat back in the car. Occasionally, snowflakes would fall in March. Huamin's hair and eyelashes were covered in snow. Only a touch of red was left in the cold wind. Holding a black umbrella, Su Yu stood behind Huamian and held it up for her. Huamin raised his head and looked at the umbrella above his head. He was pleasantly surprised. She turned around and was pleasantly surprised. I knew you would come back. When she saw the person behind her clearly, she was instantly filled with disappointment. The snow is too heavy. If you continue like this, you will turn into a snowman. Su Yu smiled. Why are you here? When I was driving by, I saw an idiot standing here. I thought it was a new road sign in Sea City. So it was you. Huamin's lips twitched, but she didn't know what to say. Su Yu, You know that I'm divorced. Yes, I saw the news and your Weibo. I want to see him. There are some things I want to say to him face to face, so don't try to persuade me to leave. I won't. I believe you have your reasons for waiting. Okay, then you can go. No, I think the scenery here is great. I'll look at mine, you wait for yours. Su Yu held the umbrella and looked at the cross in the distance, stubbornly saying this. You are really stubborn. Huamin tilted his head and looked at Su Yu. Same here. Huamin and Su Yu continued to stand outside the courtroom like this for 6 hours. Until 11 p.m., there were very few cars and pedestrians on the road, but they were still standing there. Su Yu's cotton jacket had already been put on by Huamin. Luckily, he was a soldier and had a strong body. Otherwise, he would have frozen to death. Achoo, achoo. Su Yu was shivering from the cold. Hurry up and go back. Huamin tried to persuade Su Yu. If the idiot doesn't leave, I won't leave. Su Yu's attitude was firm. You're the idiot. Huamin rolled his eyes at him. In the end, Huamin didn't want to be a burden to Su Yu, so he turned around and opened Su Yu's car door and got in. Dr. Hua, what do you want me to do now? Su Yu was surprised. Idiot, take me home, I'm tired. Huamin finally stopped being stubborn and decided not to wait any longer. After the Lamborghini slowly drove away, Qin Chu walked out from behind a tree not far away. He threw the unfinished cigarette in his hand onto the ground and stepped on it. Huamian was finally willing to go back, and he could finally go back to the company with peace of mind. On the way back, Huamin was depressed and didn't say a word. What do you want to eat later? Su Yu asked softly. Chapter 1490. I don't want to eat anything. Huamin's voice was very soft. Are you trying to go on a hunger strike? Su Yu was still merciless. He knew that if he wanted to comfort Huamin, he would have to use his usual method of comforting her. No. Then be a good girl and eat. That way, you'll have the energy to continue asking Qin Chu. Huamin remained silent. What do you want to eat later? Suyu asked again. Barbecue pork buns, Hua-min answered straightforwardly. Suyu's eyes flashed. He knew that this was the only way to persuade her. 10 minutes later. Inside a Hong Kong restaurant, Suyu ordered a table full of snacks. Hua-min didn't say a word. Instead, he lowered his head and ate. He knew that right now, even if she ate delicacies, it would be like chewing wax. However, she still had to eat. After all, she needed to replenish her energy. After leaving the restaurant, Suyu drove Hua-min directly to Sky Blessing Court. At the door, Hua-min said goodbye to him. Suyu, don't thank me. Suyu stopped Hua-min from saying anything. I didn't do anything, I just accompanied you for a while and had a meal. This kind of thing isn't something that others can help with. Even if I'm omnipotent, I can't heal your heart. I don't have Granny Mang's soup to erase the past, and I'm not Doraemon who can conjure everything you want. I'm just a friend by your side. As long as you need me to appear, I'll always be by your side. So, don't think too much, don't thank me, be strong. You're so strong. I don't believe that anything can defeat you. After hearing this, Hua-min smiled from the bottom of his heart for the first time in years. Okay, then I'll go in. Be careful on your way back. All right. Suyu nodded. Then, Hua-min turned around and went back into his room. Suyu stood there blankly for 10 minutes. Actually, he didn't want to think about anything else at this time. He just wanted to spend more time with her. He knew that Hua-min must be heartbroken right now. A woman who was willing to live and die with Chin Chu. She was not even afraid of death, but she was afraid of being abandoned by him. After Suyu finished his cigarette, he glanced at the bedroom on the second floor before turning around and leaving the Lamborghini. The next morning another piece of news hit the headlines. A young lady of GK suspected of dating the boss of Imperial Star. Did she have an affair or have you become single? Some paparazzi took pictures of Suyu's car entering and leaving Hua-min's Sky Blessing Court. Thus, rumors began to spread. Wasichian was in his office. When he saw the news, he shook his head. TSK. Mion, you're not a good girl again. Why are you so close to Suyu? Who does he think he is? You have to come back as soon as the war is over. I can't wait. Hua-min didn't turn on his phone for a few days, so he didn't check Weibo or WeChat. Many people on Weibo criticized him, saying that Hua-min cheated on him and caused his marriage to fall apart. The more they talked about it, in the end, a large group of reporters surrounded Chin Chu in front of GK and Hua-min in front of Sky Blessing Court. Hua-min didn't leave the house for an entire day. When Chin Chu went downstairs, he was blocked by reporters at the main entrance of GK. President Chin, can you tell us what happened last night? President Chin, did you divorce President Su after you found out that you had an illicit relationship with him? President Chin, a while ago, there was a similar case in the entertainment industry. A superstar's wife cheated on his manager, so he publicly announced his divorce. So, did you announce your divorce on Weibo because of this? President Chin, when did you find out that you had an affair with President Su? President Chin, will you remarry? President Chin, can you announce the division of your assets? I heard that your ex-wife took alimony of $1 billion from you. President Chin, do your parents know about this? What's their stance on this? Chin Chu was completely surrounded. Assistant Yang was going crazy. He yelled, "Everyone, make way, don't push." President Chin, please give us a response. Your ex-wife's actions have angered the public. If she really cheated on you, then the group will give you justice. Finally, the reporter's question angered Chin Chu. Chapter 1491. He coldly swept his gaze across the room. Justice? What justice? I don't need anyone else to do justice for me. Then, the room immediately quieted down, all the cameras were pointed at Chin Chu, and the flashes never stopped. This is the first and last time I'm responding in public. I won't be responding to this matter in the future, so please listen carefully. Huamin and I got a divorce because of our own private matters. There was no third party involved, nor was there an affair. It also didn't involve any family conflicts. She gets along well with my parents, and she's always been friends with President Su of Imperial Star. Please don't slander her. If she's so good to you, then why did you get a divorce? A fearless reporter rushed to ask. Chin Chu's gaze swept across his face, scaring him into taking a few steps back. If looks could kill, he would have died 1,000 times over by now. You want to hear the reason? Fine, I'll give you the reason. I've been with her for many years. We've been together since high school, and after a long time, we're like family. There's no passion between us anymore. We're both rational people, and in order to maintain the freshness of our love, we decided to separate. But, the separation is only temporary. It's not permanent. Thank you for your attention. After speaking, Chin Chu pushed through the crowd, got into his Maybach, and drove away. Huamin, who was sitting in front of the TV, actually felt a little happy when she saw this interview. He just said that the separation was only temporary. It seemed like she was right. Chin Chu must have run into some kind of temporary problem. Once it was solved, everything would be fine. It wasn't like they were really getting a divorce. Then, she shouldn't be like an abandoned woman who's lost her mind all day. Even today, in order to protect her, Chin Chu actually accepted an interview in public and explained that there was no third party involved. He clarified for her, saying that if he really didn't love her anymore, why would he do something like this? After those famous people got divorced, most of the time, the couples would tear each other apart. Instead of wholeheartedly protecting her, so, with this thought, Huamin didn't feel so sad anymore. She still said the same thing. She believed that Chin Chu had his own difficulties, but it wasn't convenient for him to tell her right now. After Chin Chu responded, the situation immediately changed. There were no longer people making an issue out of Huamin and Su Yu. There were also no longer people talking about the third party or cheating in their marriage. After all, no man would defend his ex-wife after being cuckolded. Therefore, everyone believed that there was no such thing as an extramarital affair, and that the unspeakable secret was the truth behind the divorce. That night, some gossipy viewers even wrote a long Weibo post analyzing the truth behind Chin Chu and Huamian's divorce. She boldly guessed that it was because one of Huamin and Chin Chu was infertile, so in order not to interfere with each other's happiness, they had to bear the pain of separation. In fact, the two of them were still in love. Who would have thought that this Weibo post would resonate with everyone? Chin Chu and Huamian didn't get pregnant for a year, so the public started to speculate. Now that they were divorced, perhaps it really had something to do with the child. That afternoon, Hua Xiqian accepted an interview. For the first time, he expressed his opinion on the matter. President Hua, what do you think about the divorce between GK's president and his wife? I don't think so, but I have something to say to my Mian. Hua Xiqian smiled. What is it? The female host asked curiously. Chapter 1492. No matter what difficulties or misfortunes she encounters, the Hua family's doors will always be open for her. She's welcome to come home anytime. President Hua is such a good brother. Good brother? No, I'm not. Hua Xiqian directly rejected her. This made the female host feel very awkward. The Hua family isn't a place where anyone can come home whenever they want. Some people can, but some people will never be able to. I don't quite understand what President Hua is saying, huh? The female host was completely confused by Hua Xiqian's words. It's okay if you don't understand, as long as someone does. Seeing this, Hua Min immediately turned off the TV and threw the remote control onto the TV. Recently, she felt that Hua Xiqian had been very high profile. She also thought about how Qin Chu suddenly asked for a divorce. Could it be because of Hua Xiqian? However, she couldn't ask directly, because she wouldn't get an answer. According to Hua Xiqian's personality, he wouldn't say anything. Nothing that came out of his mouth was true. Qin Chu, on the other hand, wouldn't say anything. He was such a stubborn person. With this thought, Hua Min picked up her tablet and opened Weibo. She sent a private message to Suyu. Are you there? Yes. As long as Hua Min wanted to talk to Suyu, he would always be there. He didn't like Weibo at all, but because of one person, he was always online 24/7. She purposely turned up the volume so that even if she was asleep, she would still hear it. I have something that I need your help with. Sure. I haven't told you what it is yet. Hua Min was speechless. Suyu agreed just like that. Seriously, since you came to me, it means that I can do it. Since I can do it, I definitely won't refuse. Hua Min, do you always agree to everyone's requests? Do you think I'm a genie? Suyu rolled his eyes and retorted. Hua Min couldn't help but laugh. At this moment, she looked at Suyu and said, even if I'm the genie, I'm only your genie. Hua Min stopped smiling and remained silent. Every time Suyu was serious, she didn't know how to respond. Speak. What's the matter? Don't waste my time. Suyu changed the topic. I want you to help me investigate something. What is it? Hua Xiqian. To be honest, I don't know what's going on. I'll make it short. I think Qin Chu's sudden request for a divorce has something to do with Hua Xiqian. I think Hua Xiqian must have done something. Oh, I see. Qin Chu won't tell me. If he doesn't want me to know, then it must be something big, and it must have something to do with me. After thinking about it, only you can help me without them finding out. Okay. Thank you, you don't have to thank me. If it works, you have to treat me to dinner. Sure. Hua Min nodded without hesitation. If it doesn't work, you still have to treat me to dinner. No problem. Hua Min smiled again. Suyu was always like this, domineering to the point of being cute. After talking to Suyu about this, Hua Min felt less sad. She also didn't insist on asking Qin Chu. She hated herself for being so reckless and not thinking about the cause and effect of the situation. After taking a hot shower, Hua Min fell asleep. In the middle of the night, she felt like someone was watching her. In a daze, she saw a person standing by her bed, but the person's silhouette was so blurry. Mian, hurry up and come back to me. I don't want to wait too long. The voice was eerie. Hua Min suddenly woke up, then, she was surprised to find that the window of the bedroom had been opened. Chapter 1493. It was winter. Who would open the window in the middle of the night? Hua Min clearly remembered that the window was closed. It couldn't have been opened for no reason. Could it be that someone had broken into the house? With this thought, Hua Min felt all the hairs on her body stand up. She rolled out of bed, turned on the bedroom light, and then went downstairs with a flashlight. She searched all the rooms in the house, but there was nothing suspicious. She didn't lose anything either. Was it an illusion? But that wasn't right. The window was indeed open. Still unable to sleep, Hua Min called the neighborhood security. She asked for the surveillance footage outside her house. Of course, the security guard wasn't easy to talk to. In the end, Huamin gave him a red packet of 1,000 yuan before he was willing to do it. However, when he looked at the surveillance footage, he found that everything was normal. Miss Hua, look, I didn't do anything. The neighborhood is very strict. No one would break in without us knowing. Huamin returned home with a heavy heart. When she walked out of her house, she deliberately turned around to look at the neighborhood surveillance camera. Then, she looked at the angle outside her room. It was actually a blind spot. No wonder the camera couldn't see anything. Huamin felt even more scared. She was very scared. She really wanted to call Qin Chu, but she knew that it was probably not convenient for Qin Chu to see her at this time. He must have his difficulties. She couldn't call Su Yu. It was too late. If someone took a picture, she wouldn't be able to explain herself. In the end, Huamin decided to call Jiang Xiaowei. Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran lived in the apartment, so it wasn't very convenient. After Jiang Xiaowei got pregnant, she basically couldn't do anything that was inappropriate for children. After thinking about it, she called Xiaowei. Jiang Xiaowei left and sent a car to pick up Huamin. Jiang Xiaowei's private mansion. Mian, are you hungry? Do you want to eat something? Huamin shook his head. You don't look well. Slightly. I don't think I'm hallucinating. It should be the person who came in. That person should have avoided the surveillance camera's blind spot. Are you sure? I'm not sure, but I don't think I'm wrong. The window was indeed opened. Could it be that the wind blew it open? No, because before my mom left, she specially helped me check the windows. They were all locked from the inside. That's weird. If someone could open the door, Mian, your home is not safe. You can't stay there anymore. Then what should we do? Huamin was also worried. You can stay at my house. That won't do. It's too inconvenient. How about I rent a temporary apartment or hotel? Huamin said. No, you can't live alone. You're being watched. It's too dangerous to live alone. No matter where you live, you'll be in trouble. What you need now is to live with a group. Live with a group. Huamin was in a difficult position. I told you Qin Chu wouldn't ask for a divorce for no reason. It looks like you two are in trouble. Jiang Xiaowei was very smart. She had the same thought as Huamin and suspected that Hua Xiqin did something. Why don't you come to my house? The Wei family values me a lot. In order to protect me and my child, they have bodyguards protecting us 24 hours a day. My mansion is like an iron fortress. Jiang Xiaowei invited him enthusiastically. Slightly. Let me think. Does Lord Su know about this? Huamin shook his head. If he knew, he'd be worried sick, Jiang Xiaowei added. We can't let Qin Chu know, or else he'll be even more stressed. Anyways, we have to keep this a secret, Huamin said slowly. Okay. In the VIP ward of the first hospital, Chu, what's going on? The rumors are all over the place. Lady Qin held her son's hand and asked in a low voice. What rumors? Rumors say that you divorced Mian. We did divorce. What did you say? Lady Qin was dumbfounded. Chapter 1494. We're divorced. Pa, Lady Qin slapped Qin Chu mercilessly. Bastard, who told you to get a divorce? Why didn't you discuss such a big thing with us? Do you think we're dead? Lady Qin was really angry. The company was in a slump recently, Qin Yuman was in poor health, and Huamin had been running back and forth like her daughter. The old couple felt sorry for her. Where else could they find such a good daughter-in-law? It was bad enough that he didn't tell them when he got married, but now he didn't even tell them about the divorce. No wonder they hadn't seen Huamin for the past 2 days. It turned out that something big had happened. At first, when she heard the people at the hospital talk about it, she thought it was a publicity stunt. "Mom, this is between the two of us. You and Dad don't have to worry about it." "What nonsense are you talking about? What do you mean we don't have to worry about it? You're my son. If I don't worry about it, who will? Why do you want a divorce? What's wrong with Mian? It's not that she's not good. This matter isn't that simple. I'll explain it slowly in the future. Anyway, don't ask now." After speaking, Chin Chu walked over to his father's bed. "Dad," Chin Yumin looked away and refused to speak. He seemed to be angry with his son. "Dad, rest well for the next few days. I'll arrange the surgery for you next Monday." "No need. Don't be stubborn. I'll do the surgery myself. Don't feel burdened. If Mian doesn't come, I won't do the surgery." "Dad." Chin Chu didn't expect his old man to be so stubborn. "Ask Mian to come. I want to see the two of you together. Otherwise, I won't do the surgery until I die," Chin Yumin said. He didn't believe that there was anything in the world that could separate Chu and Mian so seriously. So, even if it was a threat, he had to set them up. "I still have things to do at the company. I'm leaving now." Chin Chu was exhausted and didn't want to argue with his parents. After Chin Chu left, Huamin came. They walked one after the other, so they didn't meet each other. Huamin would not turn his back on her just because he divorced Chin Chu. After 2 days of sadness, she finally felt better. She immediately went to the first hospital. "Dad, Mom." The way he addressed them was still the same. "Mian, you're finally here." Lady Chin held Huamin's hand with tears in her eyes. "We thought you wouldn't come again, Mom. Even if Chin Chu and I are divorced, I will still be your daughter. You've been so good to me, I will never forget." Huamin put down the vegetables and fruits with a smile. "I bought some ingredients today. I'll make some clear soup for Dad later. I heard that he's going to have surgery next week. He has to adjust his diet. Mian, you and Chu." Chin Yumin seemed to want to ask something. "Dad, he must have his reasons for doing what he did. Let's not ask him about it. He must be feeling terrible. It's okay. I believe that no matter what difficulties it is, it will pass. Our separation is only temporary." Huamin smiled. Her words made the 2 elders of the Qin clan feel more or less relieved. Huamin chatted with the 2 elders at the hospital for a while and made some vegetable soup himself. Before they left, Lady Qin said, "Mian, your dad's surgery is next Monday. I'll be there," Huamin said with determination. The 2 elders of the Qin family were even more touched. "Okay, we'll wait for you." When Huamin walked out, he received a call from Zhu Lingling. She and Gao Ran were waiting for him at a hotpot restaurant not far away. Ever since the accident, they hadn't sat down and had a good chat. Huamin was doing well, so she wanted to see her 2 good friends. However, to her surprise, she ran into Hua Xiqian, whom she hadn't seen for a long time. Beside him was Mo Shui. Mo Shui had been very successful recently. After she joined the Hua Corporation, she took part in a popular reality show and became even more popular. Recently, she accompanied Hua Xiqian to some of his events and dinners. Song Yisher seemed to have disappeared. When they met, Mo Shui confronted him. "Hey, isn't this Lady Qin?" "Oh. I'm sorry, she's not anymore. I heard she's his ex." Huamin smiled at Mo Shui. "Movie queen Mo, are you here for an abortion again?" Mo Shui's expression changed immediately. Chapter 1495. Don't step on someone just because they're down and out. That kind of behavior is really annoying. Also, don't forget your past. At this point, Wamin deliberately moved his head closer to Mo Shue's ear and whispered, "Did you know? They say that aborted fetuses will turn into baby spirits and will forever haunt the irresponsible mother. You used her as a tool to force her into marriage. In the end, you didn't save her, but you don't feel guilty at all. You've really impressed me." After speaking, Huamin continued walking forward. Mo Shui froze on the spot, her heart filled with fear. Mo Shui originally wanted to show off her success, then, she wanted to laugh at Huamin for being abandoned. However, she didn't expect to be defeated as soon as they started fighting. Her mockery had no effect on Huamin at all. However, Huamin's words pierced her heart like a poisonous needle. This was Huamian's strength. She would either ignore you. Or he would break you down in an instant. Just then, Mo Shui suddenly turned her head and roared, "Huamin, what's so great about you? Don't always act so high and mighty. You don't have nothing right now. You're just a resentful woman who was abandoned by her husband. You're wrong. I don't have nothing. I still have $1 billion in alimony, Mo Shui. Also, this is a hospital. Please keep quiet. Thank you." Huamin smiled calmly and continued walking out. When he passed by Hua Xiqian deliberately moved his body and blocked Huamin. "A good dog doesn't block the way." "Ha! I've never been a good dog." Hua Xiqian laughed. "So you've admitted that you're just a dog?" Huamin raised his head and looked at Hua Xiqian coldly. "Mian, you're really resentful." "Yes, I pray every day, hoping that God will let you die early and go to hell early. Thank you for missing me so much." Hua Xiqian was still smiling. Huamin, on the other hand, was extremely angry. "You know what? You're actually very similar to me." Hua Xiqian almost clapped his hands and cheered when he saw how Huamin pissed Mo Shui off. That kind of smiling face that could infuriate people half to death, this kind of appearance was really similar to him. "You're flattering me. I'm not that perverted." After saying that, Huamin gave him a hard push. She pushed Hua Xiqian aside and walked out of the hospital without looking back. Meeting him here really made her lose her appetite. When he reached the door, Huamin suddenly thought of something. She turned around to look at Hua Xiqian and asked, "Are the curtains in my house pretty?" Hua Xiqian didn't say anything, he just looked at her quietly. Mo Shui, on the other hand, was completely stunned. "They're very pretty," Hua Xiqian replied. "Really? I'll prepare even better ones for you next time." "Sure, I'm looking forward to it." Hua Xiqian put one hand in his pocket and continued to smile. Huamin calmly left. "Xiqian, what did you guys just say? Did Huamin give you curtains?" Mo Shui was completely confused. "Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. It won't do you any good to know too much." Hua Xiqian's voice was cold. The reason why Hua Xiqian kept Mo Shui around until now was because she was still useful to him. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to survive until now. Now that she's divorced, shouldn't you do something to her? Mo Shui always knew that Hua Xiqian was infatuated with Huamin. "There's no rush, I have something more important to do first." Hua Xiqian smiled eerily. That night, Hua Xiqian returned to the Hua mansion, where he hadn't been for a long time. The empty house became especially cold and cheerless. Jiang Hong, who hadn't been home for a long time, was sitting on the sofa in the living room. She was wearing an elegant dark green qipao. "What do you want?" Hua Xiqian leaned against the door and looked at Jiang Hong. "Don't you think you've been too much lately?" Jiang Hong asked as she poured tea. You mean? Chapter 1496. I don't care if you teamed up with more than a dozen real estate developers to suppress GK, but why did you have to do this? Do you know how much the whole corporation lost? Do you know how much money I lost in one night? Jiang Hong was a profit-oriented person. In her entire life, she didn't care about her own parents and only cared about money. Hua Xiqian had seen through her a long time ago. Money can be earned again, what's the rush? Hua Xiqian replied nonchalantly. Earn again. That's easy for you to say. That was my money in the first place. You took it and did whatever you wanted without even discussing it with me. Hua Xiqian, are you all grown up? Do you think you can get rid of my help? Help? Hua Xiqian raised his thick eyebrows. No, you're wrong, you've never helped me. Then did you grow up being a prostitute? Jiang Hong's face darkened. Her adopted son had been acting weird for the past 2 years and wasn't as obedient as he used to be. Before, she just thought that her son was old enough to enjoy himself, so she didn't think much of it. She had seen how Hua Xiqian had lost billions of yuan of the whole corporation's funds in a week during the price war to attack GK. She was no longer in the mood to continue traveling and flew back from Australia to question him. All these years of your upbringing is actually just an excuse to deceive others. Madam Jiang Hong. Say, if people find out that you, who looks dignified and beautiful like a noble lady, are actually a pervert who likes to play with handsome boys. What will happen? Jiang Hong's expression changed drastically. Don't be afraid, I won't expose you. The truth is, I should thank you for giving me a dark childhood, which led to my current twisted and perverted life. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to do all that I did, and I wouldn't have risen to the top of the whole family so quickly. All I can say is, thank you for raising a psycho. What are you talking about? Jiang Hong felt guilty and didn't dare to look Hua Xiqian in the eye. Hua Xiqian walked over and sat across from her. He picked up an apple and slowly peeled it with a fruit knife. You just asked why I didn't discuss it with you, right? Jiang Hong remained silent. What do you think you are? Jiang Hong's expression turned even uglier when she heard this. Why should I discuss it with you? Don't tell me you're so naive as to think that you're the current head of the whole family. I have 52% of the shares. Jiang Hong corrected her. Oh, that. Sure, you can use your shares to go back to the board of directors and throw your weight around. See if anyone listens to you. Don't be silly. You only have shares, not real power. I can bankrupt the whole corporation in one day and leave you with hundreds of billions of dollars in debt. Do you believe me? Jiang Hong widened her eyes and looked at Hua Xiqian in disbelief. You can't do this. That's all you have. Jiang Hong didn't understand. If the Hua Xiqian was finished, wouldn't he also be a poor man? Don't tell me you're so naive as to think that the whole corporation is all I have. What do you mean by that? Jiang Hong finally understood what Hua Xiqian was implying. That's why I said that you're old and stupid. But that's okay, it's good that you don't understand. Under normal circumstances, those who know less live longer. I'll go to the board of directors tomorrow and remove you from your position as the president. You'll have nothing, and I'll take back everything I've given you. Jiang Hong stood up angrily. Hua Xiqian only smiled faintly when he heard this. Chapter 1497. It's not the same. My security system is very good, and I have bodyguards patrolling 24/7. It's okay, I'll stay at Xiao Wei's house for a few days. When things are settled, I'll go back to South Hill Manor. Su Yu's eyes dimmed slightly. He knew that to Huamin, South Hill Manor was her home because Qin Chu was there. Oh yeah, what did you find? Huamin asked. The day Qin Chu told you about his divorce, he did meet with Hua Xiqian in the afternoon. Huamin didn't say anything, but it was obvious that she had expected this. I checked his car and found that he went to Duoqin Bay, and Hua Xiqian went there as well. However, the surveillance in that area was tampered with, so I don't know the exact time and place of their meeting. I only know that they definitely met. I knew it. Huamin clenched her fists, her heart burning with anger. If it wasn't for Hua Xiqian's tricks, why would Qin Chu suddenly want a divorce? So I'm curious, what did that bastard Hua Xiqian say to Qin Chu? What made him divorce you willingly? Su Yu was the one who asked this question. He was indeed curious. He knew how Qin Chu felt about Huamin. Qin Chu was willing to die for Huamin, but now that he mentioned divorce, Huamin guessed that something worse than death must have happened. Su Yu, yeah. Can you pull up the footage from snooker night? What can I do? That night, Hua Xiqian said a few words to Qin Chu, and then he panicked and lost the game. I'm guessing that it has something to do with this. But, that time, he spoke so softly. Even if I give you the footage, you still can't hear what he said. Su Yu was puzzled, thinking that Huamin should have considered this. It's okay, just give me the footage. Okay, wait for me, I'll get it now. Okay. After hanging up, Huamin anxiously waited. Half an hour later, Su Yu sent him a video on WeChat. Huamin was pleasantly surprised, and sure enough, it was that video. It was a bit far, so he couldn't hear what Hua Xiqian said to Qin Chu. However, the footage. So, Huamin took his phone and went to Jiang Shaowei's room. She had just come out of the shower. Slightly, can you read lips? Yes. That's awesome. Huamin happily ran over, hugged Jiang Shaowei, and kissed her. Aya, what are you doing? You scared me. Jiang Shaowei was confused by the kiss. Here, read it to me. What did Hua Xiqian say to Qin Chu? Jiang Shaowei curiously took a look at the video and said, the shape of their lips is a bit off, I'll have to think about it. Okay, there's no rush, just give me a rough translation. Huamin picked up the hairdryer and dried Jiang Shaowei's hair. Jiang Shaowei watched the video over and over again. Finally, she looked up and tugged on Huamin's sleeve. Mian, I think he said, family background. Yes, family background. Family background, does Hua Xiqian know about my family background? Huamin's eyes were filled with shock and surprise. What family background? Jiang Shaowei was confused. I'll explain it to you later, I have to go find Qin Chu. After speaking, Huamin turned around and ran away without looking back. Honey, where did Huamin go? He ran really fast. Maybe he went to find her husband. I thought they were divorced. Wei Liao was confused. Chapter 1498. Along the way, Huamin was very excited. She held her phone and repeatedly watched the video of snooker night. She actually knew how to read lips, but she wasn't calm enough right now, so she was afraid that she would make a mistake. At such a sensitive time, she didn't want to make any mistakes. Shaowei was a bystander, and she was a more professional psychologist than her. So, to be safe, she asked Shaowei to translate first, and then watched it herself. Hua Xiqian was indeed talking about her background. It shouldn't be wrong. For a long time, Qin Chu cared about her background the most. Qin Chu could tell that she wanted to find her family, so he had been secretly looking for them. Even if someone died because of this, Qin Chu still didn't give up. Even Huamin herself gave up at one point. During snooker night, what Hua Xichen said to Qin Chu was different from what he said to her. Hua Xichen knew about her background, but he never mentioned it to her. He probably just wanted to use this opportunity to threaten Qin Chu. Was there something that couldn't be said about her background? Why would Qin Chu rather bear the pain of the divorce alone? He didn't want to talk about it. Hua Min's mind raced the whole way. She really hated herself for not noticing it earlier. If she had checked and found out, maybe she and Qin Chu wouldn't have to suffer so much. When she arrived at the company, she found that Qin Chu wasn't in the office. "Where's my husband?" "A young lady. President, he got off work." "I know. Where did he go?" "Home or?" I don't know." "Yang, how did I treat you in the past?" Hua Min began to play the gentle card. "A young lady treated me very well. My wife and I have always regarded a young lady as our idol." "If that's the case, you're not even willing to tell me where you are now." "No, it's the boss." Assistant Yang wanted to say something but stopped. "It's okay. He won't blame you. Trust me." Boss went to the newly opened Xiangjiang Hotel in the high-tech zone. "There's a banquet there tonight." "Okay, thank you." Hua Min thanked him and took a taxi to Hong Kong Hotel. Qin Chu is the same as her. He rarely attends business banquets. But he heard that this Hong Kong hotel is owned by the daughter of a provincial leader. Therefore, all the entrepreneurs in the city had to show their support. Sure enough, when they arrived, the entrance was filled with luxury cars. At this moment, a notification sound came from his phone. "Where are you?" It was a message from Su Yu. "Hong Kong Hotel." "Why did you go there?" "I'm here to see Qin Chu." "Mian, calm down. You can find Qin Chu one day later," Su Yu comforted her. "I don't want to wait another day. It's too long." Hua Min had always been a patient person. But this time, she really didn't want to waste any time. She had to see Qin Chu immediately. "Mian, listen to me, go ahead. Hua Xichen is also there. If you look for Qin Chu like this, he will be exposed. Then, everything Qin Chu has done before will be meaningless." Indeed. Hua Min was too happy and ignored the possibility that Hua Xichen might appear. Or rather, Hua Xichen would definitely appear. "So, do you want to come back first and we can discuss this further?" Su Yu really wanted to help Hua Min. Just like Qin Chu, he wanted to help too. But he wanted Hua Min to be happy more. So, between helping Hua Min remarry and letting Hua Min continue to suffer from being single, he would rather let Hua Min be happy. "No, I won't give myself away. I just really want to see him." After speaking, Hua Min put away his phone and walked into the hotel. "Hey, look, isn't that the ex-wife of GK's president?" Someone recognized her and whispered. Chapter 1499. Hua Min came in such a hurry that she didn't even have time to change into a gown. Therefore, she became the center of attention as soon as she walked in. She was still wearing a silly black cashmere coat, jeans, and high heels. It was such a simple outfit. Fortunately, her aura was strong enough to intimidate everyone. Hua Xichen and Song Yisher were a rare combination. Song Yisher wore a gorgeous golden gown with her back exposed. Hua Xichen was different from his usual self. For the first time, he wore a normal black tuxedo. Qin Chu wore a modified black tunic suit, which gave him a national style. Coupled with his handsome face, he was enough to become the topic of conversation among the women in the room. Since he announced his divorce with Hua Min and became single again, the moment Qin Chu entered the banquet, many women started to approach him. Many women tried to strike up a conversation and exchange business cards with him, but none of them succeeded. He just held a glass of red wine and quietly sat in a corner. Occasionally, he would talk to entrepreneurs he was familiar with. Chin-Chu didn't expect Hwa-min to come. What's more, he didn't expect her to barge in without changing her clothes. Perhaps it was because it was too cold outside, but when Hwa-min walked in, her face was a little red. His heart ached and he wanted to go up and hug her. However, he couldn't, he just looked at her from afar. Hwa Si-chin walked over first. "Mian, why didn't you tell me you were coming to the banquet? I could have asked someone to prepare a gown for you. What color do you like?" "No need. Are you here to see your ex-husband? He's very popular today. After all, he's single again. There are a lot of women trying to hit on him. You talk too much." Hwa-min raised her head and coldly glanced at Hwa Si-chin's face. Then, from the corner of her eye, she saw Chin-Chu's shadow. She walked around Hwa Si-chin and headed straight for Chin-Chu. Hwa Si-chin was very unhappy behind her. Why did he immediately become the background wherever Chin-Chu was? "Why are you here?" Chin-Chu's tone was no longer cold. Instead, it was as gentle as before. Hwa-min didn't finish her sentence. Chin-Chu saw Hwa Si-chin approaching him, his face immediately darkened. "Aren't you divorced? We should see each other less in the future. If you have any objections to the division of assets, you can contact my team of lawyers. I'm not here to ask you for money." Hwa-mion's voice was very small. She bit her lip as if she had something to say. "If you want to talk business with me, you need to make an appointment." "I'm sorry. Please excuse me, Miss Hwa." Then, Chin-Chu put down the wine glass in his hand and turned to leave. However, Hwa-min grabbed his sleeve. He felt a sharp pain in his heart. "Chin-Chu, I'll give you one more chance to explain. Tell me, why did you get a divorce? If you really have someone you like, tell me and I'll help you. If you're feeling stressed because of Dad's illness, I'll bear it with you. Don't be like this alone. I feel really bad. You're overthinking it. The truth is, the real reason I got a divorce is." Chin-Chu paused for a moment. From the corner of his eye, he saw Hwa Si-chin smiling as he watched the drama unfold. He gritted his teeth and continued, "Actually, it's not because of those ridiculous reasons that people are speculating. The real reason is that I've been tired all these years. I've used up all my love for you and my patience for you." "Tired?" Hwa-min was slightly surprised. Chapter 1500. I'm tired of living like this. Hwa-min, stop pestering me. I've said it before, let's part on good terms. I've given you so many houses, cars, and $1 billion. You can live the rest of your life without any worries. You've been with me for a year and you've gotten a lot. You didn't lose anything, we're even. After speaking, Chin-Chu suddenly shook off Hwa-min's hand. He walked out of the hotel without looking back. Hwa-min stood behind him, tears rolling down her cheeks. Hwa Si-chin's heart ached as he watched from afar. "Mian," he walked up to her, wanting to comfort her. He really wanted to tell her, "Mian, it's not a pity that you don't have Chin-Chu, but you still have me." However, before he could say anything, Hwa-min ran out crying. At the door, she suddenly bumped into something. Surprised, she looked up and saw Suyu, who was wearing a white casual outfit. He was wearing a simple, long-sleeved t-shirt with a classic Versace print. Then, he was also wearing a pair of jeans. Obviously, Lord Su wasn't here for the dinner party. She was here to pick up Hwa-min. What's wrong? He left. I knew it would be like this. Chin-Chu, that bastard. No, I have to beat him up to vent my anger. Suyu turned to leave after speaking, but Huamin stopped him. Don't go, forget it. If he doesn't want to see me, let's go. Are you okay with that? So what if I'm not? It's already come to this. After speaking, Huamin followed Suyu into the Lamborghini. After getting into the car, Huamin immediately took out a tissue and wiped the tears off his face. Then, she stuck her tongue out and asked Suyu, how was my performance just now? Suyu was confused. You mean the scene you deliberately showed to Hua Xiqian, the scene where you completely broke up with Qin Chu? I came late, so I didn't see it. But seeing you cry like this, you should be quite into the role. Duh. If I don't take it seriously, how can I fool that bastard? You have to go to South Hill Manor and explain to Qin Chu. He still doesn't know that you're acting. I think he's not feeling good about it. Suyu pondered, no need. With Hua Xiqian's suspicious personality, he will send someone to follow me and Qin Chu. If I look for him now, we will be exposed. Where are we going now? Spiritual Fox. Spiritual Fox. Suyu was surprised again. Shouldn't I act sad and drunk? Huamin laughed. Okay, Huamin, you win. Suyu drove Huamin to Spiritual Fox. The party continued, and Song Yishir lied that she wasn't feeling well and left early because she didn't want to spend another minute with Hua Xiqian. Boss, I'm done. How is it? Hua Xiqian took a sip of champagne and asked slowly. Qin Chu went back to the company to work overtime. Huamin, no, Miss Hua, went to Spiritual Fox with Suyu. She looked really sad. She was still crying when she got out of the car. Suyu supported her the whole way. I can't believe, after planning for so long, Suyu got away with it. I don't feel good about it. Hua Xiqian slammed the wine glass in his hand down with a bang. Then, he wiped his hands with a handkerchief and walked out of the hotel. Suyu, how about we sing a song together? It was a weird feeling to be in a private room with only Huamin and Suyu. To break the awkward atmosphere, Huamin volunteered to sing a song with Suyu. Suyu froze for a second before a wave of happiness welled up in his heart. You decide. So you're saying, you can sing any song? Huamin smiled. Then, she sat down on the karaoke machine and began to choose songs. Suyu sat not too far away and watched her walk away. For a moment, he got greedy. How great would it be if this woman was his official girlfriend? Chapter 1501. Suyu, let's sing Red Dust Love Song, okay? Huamin turned around with a smirk on his face. Suyu was speechless. Stop messing around, I really don't know how to sing that rural folk song. Only Huamin could come up with something like this. He couldn't even imagine what Lord Su would look like when he sang Red Dust Love Song. Ha ha ha, I'm just kidding, I don't know how to sing either. Huamin laughed heartily. In fact, Huamian felt much more relaxed now that she had solved the problem in Qin Chu's heart. Her mood was no longer as gloomy as before. Huamin randomly picked a song and picked No Goodbye by Chen Shuadong. Then, he handed a microphone to Suyu. Let's sing this, I like the melody of this song. Okay. Suyu didn't talk much today, as if he had a lot on his mind. Huamin suddenly stopped after the first line. What's wrong? Suyu asked with the microphone in his hand. It's too low. I can't sing it. Huamin pouted. Suyu chuckled. This damned girl dug her own grave and jumped into it herself. Then let's sing another song. No, this song is pretty good, go ahead. Huamin insisted. Suyu rarely sang. Every time he came to Seductive Fox, he drank and chatted. The last time he sang, just once, for Hwamin at GK's 30th anniversary gala. Everyone was shocked. This was the second time he picked up the microphone, and it was also for Hwamin. Okay. He never had the heart to refuse Hwamin's requests. Soo-yoot sang along with the beautiful melody. Hwamin picked up a drink from the table and listened to Soo-yoot sing as he drank. He had to admit that Soo-yoot's singing was super good. Also, this song was very emotional. Hwamin was intoxicated by the song. It was as if he was listening to a superstar's concert. She was watching the music video on the big screen, but she didn't notice when Soo-yoot sang the second verse. His gaze was fixed on her. In the future, when there is a snowstorm, there will be a new umbrella. Can you not turn off the lamp you left for me? Don't be sad for me. Don't be interrupted by despair. If we can't grow old together, don't let the wind and snow die you. Tomorrow, in the next life, wait for me to put the ring on your finger again. Forgive me, who was holding the flowers, who dressed up to present a gift, who watched the pure white gauze dress pass by me, and told him I was willing. But I will continue to clean the path in front of the door and the stairs. If you are tired, don't forget that you can still stop and rest there. You sang so well. Soo-yoot, you're the god of songs, you. Hwamin suddenly turned to look at Soo-yoot. Just as he was about to say something, he saw that Soo-yoot was looking at him affectionately. His eyes seemed to be filled with tears. Soo-yoot, yeah. What's wrong? Nothing, I was a little into the song. Soo-yoot adjusted his emotions, put down the microphone in his hand, and picked up a bottle of beer on the table to drink. Hwamin felt a little guilty. If he hadn't ordered this song, Soo-yoot's mood would have been so heavy. Seeing that Hwamin didn't say anything, the atmosphere became a little awkward. Soo-yoot took a sip of beer and changed the topic. Where are you going later? I'm going to find Chin-chu. Hwamin's gaze was firm. What about the people following us outside? When Soo-yoot drove Hwamin to Seductive Fox, they were closely followed by people. They didn't relax until they entered the private room because only the owner of Seductive Fox could see the surveillance cameras. Hwa Si-chin didn't have the ability to spy on them from inside the private room. I have a way to get rid of them, but I need your help, Hwamin slowly said. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.